You set your recording going.
I've set my recording. I am officially ready to begin episode 9 of Between Two. Well, this is we never check. This is episode
Yeah, we never
9
checked.
of
Is it?
Between Two Sprouts. I don't know. Maybe.
Episode 9, maybe, of Between Two Sprouts.
Maybe. Of
Yep.
Between Two Sprouts, and we are. This is our first episode, Russ, in like easily over a month now, because
Oh, yeah.
obviously, for those that are unaware, I moved to Japan, so I've relocated to Japan for a year to be closer to Square Enix headquarters, ready for the media tour.
Media tour. Yeah, it was smart. Smart play.
It's a smart
When did you
play, man.
move? Start of March, right?
I moved at the beginning of March, so it's been a month and like half a week.
It's gone pretty
Um,
quick.
it's gone really quick, man. Like if you think about it, I'm already almost ready to come home. You know, like it's already been a month of
Wow.
one of 12. Like I'm
Yeah.
basically almost coming home. So yeah, it's that's why we've not had any podcasts recently, and in that time, a lot has happened in game for both of us. I would say, I'd say both of us have had quite a lot.
Yeah. I've been
Um,
doing stuff.
yeah. What kind of stuff have you been up to?
Well, obviously not story. I finished. I think I finished Heaven's Sword Base 3.0 in January, and I'm now on 3.3 in the early May. Time of recording, guys. For anyone watching this in VOD format on the YouTube.
You
It's
finished
now the
it?
12th of May. Yeah, I finished. I think it was like 20 something of January. I finished Heaven's Sword Base 3.0. Right.
Okay, okay.
Sorry, April. My bad.
April.
It's April.
Yeah, it's April now. It's April now.
It's April now. Yeah, yeah.
That is wild. What have you been doing in the interim? What have you been filling your day
I've been
with?
doing. Um. So had a subathon pretty shortly after that, where we just did a lot of shenanigans. We actually got quite a bit done in terms of game stuff. Like we did some EXs. Definitely did. There'll be spoiler names and stuff. So if anyone's watching, fingers and ears. But yeah, we did like Ravana, Bismarck, EX, Thordan EX was really fun, and I've basically just been doing the normal version of Alexander for the story, the raid, which is a
Hmm.
great story, I think. It was really quite kept me
Yeah, you
entertained.
enjoyed
Dude,
it?
the raid stories are really good. Like Coils was sick, Alex was great, even Crystal Tower was sick.
I
So
think
I'm
Crystal
kind of
Tower
looking
is actually
forward
the
to
best one of all three of those that you just mentioned, I'd say.
really.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think Coils was good because it kind of brings together like era and the story that like everyone's constantly talking about Calamity and stuff, and then it kind of brings that all together. So I do like the Coils one in that way, like and seeing like Louis Suarez and be like, oh, there's another half to the cinematic.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
cool.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was sick. But yeah, I think Crystal Towers, but I think Crystal Towers is better than Alex, but Alex was still good, right?
Yeah, I think they
Um,
were all. I think they were all good for sure. Like you said, yeah,
mm,
all good.
all good.
Hmm.
And then doing some Alex Savage, which has taken a little longer than I anticipated, due to various things. But I haven't been like doing it in 12 days like you did when you got there, right? The
Yes,
12 days of Alex.
I did 12
Yep.
days of Savagemas because it was leading into Christmas, and I was like, oh, I want
Yeah.
to do a for fun like stream event, and we were gearing up for it anyway. And I was like, oh, 12 bosses, 12 days before Christmas. I was like, okay, let's do one boss a day for 12 days. Um, but I think I've spoken about it at length in previous episodes, so I won't go on too much about it. But yeah, it was actually really fun. It was really fun, and I think part of it broke me to the point that I don't think I've fully recovered from it mentally. Like when I go into Savage, even now, so I've completed Omega Savage, but
Yeah.
when I go into Eden Savage, I'm wondering if there will still be a broken part of my mind from having done 12 days of Savage. It was pretty intense.
It was just too much in too short of a space of time. Yeah.
Probably with the solo cook. Yeah, it was just like, yeah, I don't know. It's like a very, I mean, we can talk about it, blind cooking content, and I
Yeah.
want to hear about
I'm
your
sure we will.
experiences and Alex as well, because blind cooking
Yeah.
content, I think when you're solo cooking, it's you're so conflicted. There's so many things running in your head. You're like trying to entertain and have fun with it, but you're also trying to deduce so many aspects of a fight, and then people in chat like, oh, this is super obvious, how do you not get it yet? And you're crying, and you know people
I
are just
laugh.
bullying you,
Yeah.
and they're
Yeah.
laughing at you, and they're like, oh, it was harder back in 2010, and He just wanted to stop. But no, it's
Dude,
really,
hearing
really
about
cool.
Alex in 2010 has like people keep saying like, oh yeah, back when this was current, like cooldowns didn't reset, and like there's like it sounded like it was so janky. I can see why people have said like this tier or like the second tier was like almost broke the raiding scene.
Yes,
Uh,
I've heard
like
that.
multiple or like Alex just in general, like each tier almost broke the raiding scene. Except the last one, everyone was like, oh, now that was great, everything's fine because like they didn't overtune or like have anything crazy. Like like hearing the horror stories of Alexander, like first was it Midas and Gordius, like they are just quite beasts, I suppose.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. I think so. Did you want to talk more about the rating stuff at the moment, or maybe I should give? Did you finish kind of updating what other stuff you've been up to, or should I kind of mention what I've been up to before we get into any
Uh,
specifics? Or
yeah, I suppose that's pretty much what I've been up to. So I finished Heavensward Base. I've been doing a patch a week. I was doing like a session, so I was like doing a patch in a session, but doing one of the MSQ streams a week. So I've finished 3.3. I've got 3.4 and 3.4.
3.5?
Sorry, 3.5 and 5.5
It
as well.
goes
I
so it
think.
goes 4, 5,
Yeah,
then
5.5.
6 would be the next number, but
Yeah,
yeah,
but they
but
don't
that's
like that.
unrelated
They
to
don't like
patch. Yeah,
six.
so but
Oh,
numbers.
that's just teaching me how to count.
Well, yeah, I'm just teaching you how to count. You seem like you were like you
Okay.
said 3, and then you kind of went
I also
4.
said May a minute ago.
Yeah, he doesn't know months. He doesn't know how to count.
No, I can't. I looked at my calendar and it said 4 on the calendar, and I was like, "That's May."
Oh, I was
Yeah.
actually
So
funny story about that. Actually, obviously being in Japan, they actually
yeah.
do the American style where they do
Oh, backwards.
month, day, year, but sometimes they do year, month, day, which really throws me. So I was eating some food the other night and I thought it had expired, but I
Oh,
was
but it's
already
good.
midway through it, and then I was like,
Mm,
oh no no no, they've got me with the shenanigans, you know.
mm.
So yeah.
I see. I see. um, but yeah, I've been doing the patches, but now I've stopped because like I finished the Heavensward chunk of the patches, right? Like they stop at 3.3, I think, where
Yep.
like he closes the book and he's writing the memoirs, and it's like
Who's he?
Heavensward.
Who's he? Who's he?
The
Pop quiz.
Count Drupula.
Nice. Okay. Nice. Pop quiz.
Yeah,
Nice.
Edmund. Edmund.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You passed. You passed. Good job.
the past.
Give him a clap,
I
chat.
think
Give
I've
him a
been
clap.
paying. I think I've been paying decent attention to the story. I'm enjoying thinking about what comes next, but not overthinking what comes next. You know, I've just been like, this is
Okay.
a possibility kind of thing. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm leaving. I'm taking like again like a miniature break, at least until we get a little bit further through Alex, so I can see the end in sight on Alexander. Then I want to start the Stormblood build up, right? Because I don't want to like do the build up and then be like, I want to finish Alex before we go into it. So I'm gonna finish Alex, maybe do the Alliance trade and work on the extremes in the downtime.
Yeah, makes
Just
sense.
did Sephiroth yesterday. No, Wednesday.
Cool.
Banger song. Can't wait to do extreme on that one. Probably next week or maybe even later today.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're gonna jump into Stormblood. But that's me.
Nice.
Anyway, what have you been up to?
Yeah.
Shadowbringers.
So this is funny, right? So this is like, I mean, we're on episode 9 or something like that of the podcast. Obviously we had to take a break, and we didn't start the podcast immediately in our journey. It was like a little bit
No.
after.
Yeah, like a
So
month in.
yeah, like quite rapidly,
Two.
I've gotten into Shadowbringers and completed it. I finished it today, actually. So if anyone, I know obviously a lot of our viewers are very similar. We share a lot of the same viewers and stuff. But if any of you guys are interested, I did finish Shadowbringers, and the whole of my Shadowbringers playthrough is up on my YouTube. So it's all there for you. And I finished it today, got the end credits, and then kind of stopped there. But it's you know, it's funny. I was talking to chat today, and I was like, guys, it's gonna be so hard to go on this podcast tonight with Russ
And not talk
and
about it.
not. I mean, there's 2 expansions that I can't talk about. I can't talk
Yeah.
about. I mean, I can't talk about the second half of Alexander. I can't talk about the Alliance raid in Heavensward. I can't talk about the whole of
Sorry.
Stormblood, and I can't talk about the whole of Shadowbringers. So it's quite you know, it's quite a delicate balance for me being on the podcast with you. Like, I have to be really careful with how much I talk about. But yeah, so I finished Stormblood and Shadowbringers, and when I was in Stormblood, I of course did all the extremes, did the Alliance raid, did all of the did the whole raid, did Omega. It was really fun actually for O12 because I had a viewer bet me 500 500. It ended up being 500
Oh yeah,
pounds.
£500 for
That
being it before you went away, right?
Yeah, I had to. So I had about a week and a half before I left the country, and I got bet £500 that I couldn't solo cook O12 with literally zero help from anyone. And I was like, dude, I've got a week and a half. This is bet is on, bro. One boss in a week and a half. This is it, man. No question. And I almost broke. I was so
Yeah.
literally the last day.
Your last day, right?
It
Yeah.
came down to the last day, and we just barely got it. So yeah, it was kind of miraculous actually. The kill was kind of funny. It ended up kind of being a cheese. We ended up like doing the strat that I wanted to, but then somebody made a mistake, and then we like recovered it with an LB3 res. And you know what they say
Love
in
those
FF?
moments. I
They
love
say
those
a kill's
moments.
a kill, man. You know, a kill's a kill.
There's a
So,
clear, kill's a kill. It ain't over till it's over.
hmm so yeah, so we
Yeah.
did that. Um, and yeah, and then I finished so finished Stormblood, and then I've been into Shadowbringers, and I've only just finished the base game of Shadowbringers, so I haven't done any of the raid content or anything like that, no patch content, but I'm
Yeah.
planning on doing one, so patch 5.1, then what comes after one? No, patch 5.1, then the first tier of the raid, then 5.2 raid tier, 5.3 raid tier, and then finish off
Yeah.
the whole of Shadowbringers MSQ, and then
Patches,
do the
yeah.
extremes, alliances, level up a bunch of
Oh, after
jobs.
the.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I'll do those, and then just before I'm ready to go into Endwalker, I'm just gonna level like everything up to like everything that I think I want to play. So I'm gonna do like summoner, monk, samurai, astrologian, and a tank. So I have one of every role. I think I need a physical ranged as well. So I think I need
Mm.
probably dancer or something like that. So yeah, that's my
Oh,
plan.
this
That's
is
my
really
plan.
fun. Have you not tried it yet then?
I've played it a smidge, and it was quite fun. It was very basic though at the point that I played
It's
it,
quite
but
it's quite
yeah,
basic. Well, yeah, so far. Apparently, it doesn't get much deeper, but a little bit. You get some bells and whistles and stuff.
yeah.
But I think it's really good. Like just the abilities that it has. Like I'm quite a utility team player kind of style raider when it comes to it. So I really like the idea of like having the shield samba for the AOE. Like you have the party wide damage reduction. You have
Can
the party wide like quick global heal or like off global heal. I think as well,
can you
which
give
is
us a demonstration of like some dancing now, just so like we have an idea of like what we can expect from you? Like, can you show something on stream?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, can
so
you show something? Thank you.
like on the cam or
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, like you, like yeah, like
yeah,
can
yeah,
you
yeah. So
like can you do
you
some
get your
dancing?
discs out and
Yeah,
you go like, and then you go
yeah,
like.
nice.
I
Okay.
can't turn all the way around because of my headset wire.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Okay.
yeah, and then you can do like you can hit the wide
Yeah,
Nessie as well. Yeah.
yeah. Nice, nice. No, yeah, that's great.
Amazing, no cringe.
Yeah, nice. That's great. That's great. I just
thanks,
wanted to make
thanks for
sure
that
that
slide.
you.
That's on the internet forever now.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that we were all aware of what was going on because some people are
Oh
visual.
yeah,
Like chat, how many of you are
yeah,
visual learners?
me.
You know, I'm a visual learner.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I'll try and bear that in mind then for next time I need to teach. You know, maybe
yep.
when I pick up samurai, I'll
You
give
should
chat a
get the
demonstration then.
dance DDR map.
Oh yeah,
You know,
is
so
that a
it'll
thing?
do. It can be.
I bet probably could play it on a DDR map to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the game's easy. Am I right?
Stupid FF players.
So,
I
yeah,
know.
do you want me to give you any kind of info, like, because I'm sure some people in chat are probably interested in, like, my opinions on maybe, like, Stormblood, Shadowbringers and stuff. Do you want me to give any kind of, like, obviously no spoilers, but any kind of overarching, like, feelings on it, or would you prefer, like, you, as you going through the story, would you prefer for me to hold off for now? Because I can hold off, you know?
Ooh.
I can always talk about it on stream rather than on podcast and stuff.
Yeah, I think maybe hold off because
Okay.
I've had this thing with Heavensward where everyone got my hopes up and then I felt a little bit disappointed by certain
Okay.
parts of it. So potentially potentially, I don't know if you'll say good or bad or this and that, but it might affect my thoughts on it so far,
Yeah,
which
no,
kind of
sure.
sucks for you because that means you can't talk about like everything you've done in the past
Yeah,
three
but
months.
you know, yeah, sure, but I guess I talk about it on stream every day anyway, so it's like, or whenever
Yeah,
people
yeah,
ask, so it's not too bad. I guess, yeah, it's like one of those things that we will eventually be able to talk about in future to the full extent.
yeah. Maybe next
Yeah,
year.
for sure. I mean, we both got some cool stuff planned going forward, and I'm a little bit like sad that. What I will say is I'm going through Shadow. Well, I've just like finished Shadowbringers now, but I have this constant sort of like this constant confliction of feelings where I really want to know what's going to happen next because obviously each expansion the story is just compounding, so like
Yeah,
every expansion is just better than the last in the sense of like you have more information, you know what I mean? Like it's just you're just gaining all this knowledge of the full extent of the story and every character gets to develop and etc etc. So except for the ones that die, of course, they don't get to develop. They're dead. They're not coming back.
oh, why do you have to say it
I
again?
know.
I forgot they die.
Yeah, some of them. Some characters in the game.
Oh,
Billy dies. Billy's not
fuck
coming back.
sake, man.
Just kidding. Everybody comes back. No, whenever anybody dies, don't worry about it. Everybody reses. It's fine.
I
Don't worry about it.
mean, Hog.
Yep, they'll all come
You
back,
love
dude.
to hear it. Chat knows it.
Mhm.
Vossen gets it. Yeah.
Mhm. There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I am getting this confliction where I'm playing through and I just want to rush through to get to the end. I want to like finish Endwalker just to know what's everything. But
Yeah. Are
I
you gonna get
really
the
don't
full
want it to
Dawn
end.
Trail, do you think?
I don't know. I think there's a good okay. So I'm okay. Oh, so my plan as well actually is I'm going to start Ultimate raiding, 1 day a week of Ultimates,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I'm going
Wait,
to
I think.
just kind of tick away at it over time. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I think because I'm going to be spending 1 day Ultimate raiding, I don't think I'll be ready in time for Dawn Trail. But I'm not really. I don't think it really matters. Like I think I want to try and be ready for the second Savage tier of Dawn Trail. So that's my kind of plan. I'm definitely playing Viper when it
Oh.
comes out. So I'm going to play that. I
Yeah.
already have a level 80, so I can just play it day one. So I will be
Uh-huh.
doing some Dawn Trail content, I suppose, but I guess I'll be playing Viper and a lot of the old content, which could be pretty interesting. And then people can type in chat like, yeah, this raid was harder before Viper and stuff, and then and then I can just be like, yeah,
Yeah, you'll
okay.
never get away with anything unless you play it on release, will you?
Yeah, and then I'll be like, yeah, cool, nice. So,
Yeah.
so I don't think I'll make it in time for Dawn Trail, but it's
There's a
fine because I'm
chance.
enjoying the journey. Yeah, I'll probably be
Oh yeah.
close. I'll probably be close. Yeah, depends how long this raid tier takes me. Depends how long Eden takes. If Eden takes a while, then no chance. But if it,
Mm.
if it goes quite quick, then yeah, I think I'll make it in time.
Cool. So you think even if you don't make it on time, you'll be ready for the second tier to do that on release? The second tier.
For sure.
Second tier Dawn Trail, you'll be up to date then. You'll be
Yeah, because I
a
think it's
normie at
I
that
think
point.
it's a good few months after the first tier, right? Like it's at least like a good 2 or 3 months, I think. So easily
Oh,
like
yeah.
3 extra months. It takes me about a month and a half to go through each expansion, roughly, give or take. So,
Mm.
so yeah, we'll see.
Takes me about 4. Oh, more actually. More
But
on
like,
average right now. Yeah.
yeah, but you're enjoying the experience, man, and I would say if your chat is enjoying the experience as well, then there's no need
Hope
to
so.
rush through it. Like,
Yeah.
you're just increasing the length of time that you can be on this journey and stuff. And I think chill and take your time as long as everything's going well there. For me though, I definitely want to try and play. Going forward, I'm probably going to slow some things down with the fact that I'm doing Ultimate, but also I want to play like FF16 when it comes out on PC. I'm thinking of doing like maybe a 1 day a week like variety with like Baldur's Gate, or I want to play a Honkai Star Rail. I want to play some like, or
Of
maybe
course
some
you
old
do.
FFs.
Moves to
Yeah.
Japan. Now he's playing Honkai.
Gotcha. Yeah. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm gonna see.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
mean,
considering doing some of
do
that
it.
stuff. Mhm.
Yeah, do it. I also want to bring in variety and like kind of a couple of the things that you said as well. Like one day I'll do Baldur's Gate. First with variety. I want to do FF Remake, and FF Rebirth, and I want to do FF10, and then I also want to do like Dark Souls, Elden Ring, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, and stuff as well.
Yeah.
But like over time, like not where it's not like dominating the stream for like 3 weeks straight. It's just like one day a
Yeah,
week.
you want to do like
bit of
one day
chill
a week,
variety.
and yeah. The only thing for me is like, I don't want to start a variety playthrough of anything when Dawn Trail is about to come out, because it's kind of like you want to play that
Yeah.
stuff like in the downtime. So we're
Mm.
gonna see. But yeah, all that kind of stuff sounds really fun, like doing some variety stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to take my time with it, and I'm actually staying true to the Between Two Sprouts name of the podcast. So it's actually planned to kind of keep the longevity here, whereas you're kind of going ahead a little bit, and now we're gonna have to rename it. You know? Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier before the podcast, weren't we? We're not
Yeah.
renaming. We're not renaming. It's too cute. It's too cute.
It's too cute. It's too cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's good. So if you want to jump into like some raid stuff, like we can talk about blind. Obviously, you can't talk about anything past brute justice or past where I'm at, I suppose. But I mean, you can talk about overall general experiences with like your solo cook shenanigans. Like, how has it been to? I know we have slightly different takes on. You like to solo cook. I think you're a masochist, even more than me. Like I can go through a lot of self-inflicted pain, I suppose, with like how I like to run things on the hardest mode and stuff to prove my gaming prowess. But or like my chat's gaming prowess, because to be honest, I'm never solo, right? But yeah, you like to solo cook everything, and I like to group cook. Like I don't think, in fact, for me, I dislike solo cooking. I don't like having that pressure on me, for example.
Yeah, like, okay, so I will say that you made me. In fact, your chat made me. Okay? So,
Okay. Made you solo cook.
so when I did coils, I was pretty chill. Like, I would solo cook, but if we hit a point, like, so Nail. Do you remember Nail, Russ? Do you remember
Yeah,
why
I
does
just made
Nail?
a video on- and it released today, actually, my nail video. That's how far behind my YouTube channel is right now. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Nail, for anyone who doesn't know in chat, that was a
You took
boss
off midnight
where
level, I think, didn't you?
I took off midnight level, I
Mm.
kept Echo off, I kept it silent, but I reached the final phase of Nail, and then the boss was, I thought, taking too long, and I was worried people would kind of get bored or something, so I turned off midnight level, and we killed the boss on like a couple pulls later, and you and your chat wouldn't let me live it down, and you guys like, oh, he turned on, oh, Russ did it without min I am level turn on. Oh, why didn't you do it like that, Si? So you guys you gaslit me into being like, you know what, fuck this guy, man, fuck this kid.
Fuck
So
these
now,
idiots in
yeah, I
this
was like,
chat.
fuck these kids in this chat, man, dweebs. So I was like, that's it, I'm never turning off mine ever again, ever, and I'm gonna solo cook, and like that's it. I've had enough. No, so it wasn't. No, obviously it wasn't that intense. But I was just like, yeah, you know what? Like, okay, let me. Yeah, you're right. Let me like not give up too easy. So from then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do all of Alexander and everything, like solo cook, no, not turning anything off, and I'll be honest, dude, A8 almost broke me. A8 was tough. Like, that's still taking a piece of me, I think. But we did it in like 168 pulls, or 167, something like that. So it was a decent solo cook. But yeah, no, I mean it's enjoyable. Like I'm enjoying it, but I think I'm probably gonna tone it down a little bit with a pure solo
Yeah,
cook, like because
for your mental.
it's fun until a point, and then you're just kind of like you hit a blockade, and you just don't really know where to go from there. So I'm definitely looking to kind of have a little bit more fun with it, relax a little bit about it, and but yeah, I say that I'm probably gonna try and solo cook an ultimate. So
All right, show's over. Get this fucking guy out of here. I need a new co-host. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ, he's gone. Thank God. He is an idiot, isn't he? He's like, wow, I think A8 might have taken a piece of me I'll never get back. Then I solo cooked O12. think I'm gonna do ultimate. That's the next logical step. Oh, it's totally chat's fault that you feel this way, not your own, right?
The thing is, though, is that no one has ever done that before in the history of Dota. So
That'd be kind of a cool achievement.
imagine
Then.
how cool that would be if
That'd
I
be a
could
cool
say
title.
I solo cooked an ultimate,
But
and it
would
only
people
took me
believe you?
3 years. You know what I mean? Like I only.
Yeah. You could have the title, and then I guess to be fair, you always have haters and doubters and stuff. Like I was gonna say, like, will people believe it? Like, will people care? You know, like, imagine you get to the end of that, and then people are like, "Great,
They
just read a
just
guide,
cheat.
bro."
They just cheat. They just Jeeth stare me. You know, I'm down to
Yeah.
like my last 3 viewers. You know, it's like my
Yeah.
mom and like my siblings, and they're like, "You can do it, honey." And I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah. That's like fuck this guy. You know, like
yeah,
it's been 3 years. He's finally killing it. Everyone's like, "Oh wow, we're in the next expansion." Dung hail, and you know,
nice.
it's yeah. Couldn't
Praise the dung.
raise a dung.
Yeah, praise the dung. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see. Still figuring out my ultimate plans, but yeah, no, it's. I think solo cooking is hard. Like, how have you been finding it? Like, because you're taking in people that have never done the fight, right? So they're all blind, and then almost all blind, and then you kind of like
Yes.
cooking with them. How
So
have you been finding that? Is it still enjoyable? Still challenging?
still enjoyable to a point. I think I've now started to see that point more frequently where it's like it's fun and then it just becomes not fun. And that's the point where I need to start reevaluating, be like, okay, I'm not having like take a step back, like, okay, I'm not having fun right now. So how do I fix that? And I think the difference is it's a little harder than coils, and also like it's just like there's a lot of like mechanic vomit, which and I feel like the fights can be really punching. Like one small mistake can be like that's a wipe, and that's like 6 minutes gone kind of thing. Those are the fights coming over from WoW that I generally dislike. You
Yeah,
know, like
only 6 minutes gone. Yeah, that's a shame to
yeah,
waste
like
6 minutes. That's a lot of time. I would hate to waste double or.
well, it's just like that
Time, yeah.
style of fight, right? Like Razageth, for example, is like if one of the orbs goes off, like everyone gets the debuff for 15 seconds, which is unhealable, and you've wiped. Or
Yeah,
one
yeah,
thing will
yeah.
happen and you wipe, and it's like one person, little Jimmy in the corner. Not saying like we have Jimmys in my raid, but like if someone just like we're all human, we make mistakes, and it's like oh okay, that's kind of gone now. That's fine for a fight to be like that, but it adds a layer on top when you're going blind because you're like getting to that point and investing that time and you don't have a plan, like you're going in without a plan. It's like we'll spend 6 minutes to try and see the next mechanic, and then there's a one-shot mechanic and it's like oh like we didn't even get to the point where we even have like any VOD footage to go through and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And that's the point where I start to feel like okay, this is kind of dragging a little bit when we've been on a fight for weeks or whatever and put a ton of hours into it, and we're still like it's like we can't even begin to comprehend like starting to cook something up
Yep.
until we get through this prerequisite of like this much time of the fight. And it's like let's just like play the first part perfectly, which kind of works because we get really good and very consistent at the first part of the fight. But
Yeah.
then it's like okay, let's get to Vortexer and we have no idea what we're doing kind of
Yeah.
thing in A6 for example.
Yeah. Yeah, I
um
get that. I mean, yeah, because A6 is something where it's not front loaded, right? It's like back
mm,
loaded. Damn.
yeah.
It's back loaded. And
Yeah,
but like I
same with
mean,
Root Justin, I
I don't know.
suppose.
Yeah, I'd say yeah. Well, yeah. So there's certain fights where there's certain fights. Did I pose that as that being a good thing? Yeah, no. I was backloaded fights. I think are like that's how you artificially make the fights more difficult, right? Because and this
If you're
speaks
blind,
to well,
if you're blind.
if you're blind, yeah. But that
Yeah.
speaks to like fight design as a whole. Is that if you artificially increase the challenge by making it difficult to gain information later into the fight, so you have to play well in those earlier phases to then get the opportunity to even start cooking more. But
Mhm.
I don't want to say too much, but raiding in like Omega, for example, things might shift around a little bit for various reasons as to why that might. Like, I think you'll probably enjoy that a bit more. I think you'll probably enjoy Omega. I think as well. So you're doing Alexander, right? Not every single fight is a banger. Every single Omega fight is a banger. Like, particularly like the second two bosses of each tier. So like the third and fourth boss, the seventh and eighth, etc. Like, they just are awesome. So and things shift a bit, so it's not as egregious as you're kind of saying. Yeah.
I think most of the fights, obviously we haven't done the last tier, and I think they realized the difficulty curve they made, and they made the last tier a bit easier than the rest in Alex. So I think once we get through Brute Justice, like, I haven't really heard much about the other four, just that they're good fights, or like everyone likes them kind of thing, especially 11 and 12. But like even the fights that like didn't really present much of a challenge on normal, for example, like they've been pretty good. Like Quick Thinks, All Talks with the cages, the kitty cat boss. We had A5, which was the monkey smash, the bombs away one. That was pretty good as well. The only fight I would say is like kind of a dud would be A2, which is the ad fight. Like Pepsi Man was good. First fight, I even thought A1 was really good. Like, it's a really good entry opening first boss, I think.
Yeah, touching on Pepsi Man really quick though as well. I thought Pepsi Man was really cool, but like from the sounds of when I went, because how are you doing these? I don't know if you're doing these fights the same as me, but like I will go into the fight blind, cook it, and then when we kill it, I immediately watch the guide.
I don't.
I normally watch a MT. Is it MT? Sorry, chat. You can correct me if I'm wrong here, but is it MTQ or MT? I think it's MTQ, something like that. But she's really good. She does really good guides on a bunch of fights. I think she's more recently stopped doing them, but or she took a break or something and then came back. But yeah, Ms. Tech, yeah. She's great. I love listening to her guides. So I'll go back and watch them after I kill the boss. And from the looks of it, Pepsi Man used to be like way cool. Not to do the whole like it was harder back in 2010, but it just genuinely looked like it was actually a better fight back then. Because I think the crux of the fight is supposed to be these various DPS and heal checks, and you just miss that when you're mine, right? Whereas some fights, they can be hard regardless of mine and stuff like that, because just the mechanics, you know. So
yeah, or the class design was different, or like, you know, people had like TP back in the day and stuff like that. Like, we can never fully relive it. I do obviously like the fact that we can kind of get close-ish, though. Like, obviously that's,
I'm happy. That's good enough
for
for me,
a game changer. That's a game changer for me coming from WoW. Like, the fact that we can even have any kind of comparable experience is huge. Like, it's a 10 out of 10 W for me. So, I mean, all we can do really is look to the future, and, you know, when we're both caught up to current day content, we can actually finally experience something which is as is meant to be, kind of thing, which is cool.
Which as is as meant is to be.
Yeah, like as is, like we experience it as is and as it's meant to be, right?
As is and as is as meant to be.
Current content. Yeah,
I agree. You know what? I couldn't even begin to unravel and even disagree with what you just said, because quite frankly, I couldn't understand it. No, I fully agree. I fully agree. Like, it's that's why I kind of want to like rush for Dawn Trail and get there for the first raid tier, and, you know, experience that with everyone else when it's all fresh. But I feel like being in Shadowbringers now, I'm kind of in current content. Like, for example, when I started playing in ARR, I had a friend, CC Lemon. He was progging Eden. So it kind of like feels like I'm in content. Enough. Yeah, like, and there's a bunch of people in my chat like, oh yeah, we're going through Eden this week, like blind, or like, you know.
That's cool. That people still do that raid.
I mean, correct me again if I'm wrong, chat. I normally am, but I'm pretty sure like Eden and up is like it's like the current tier, and then the most recent tier I think seem to get a lot of playtime, and then I guess most people don't go back further than that. Like, how many people do you know doing like coils? Probably not many. You know,
and I don't think anyone wants to touch Alex. Like, not many people. Apparently, Omega's a very popular raid. Like, for people, like a lot of people want to do that when I do it, but not that many people signed up for Alex compared to coils, and compared to what I think is going to be on Omega as well.
Omega is just I understand what people mean now when they say that like the devs finally have figured things out. Like it just clicks. Like you can still
Yeah.
cook. Like it still is hard, but like everything just like there was a boss that we like one shot, right? Obviously an early stage boss. It was like a one shot boss, but I was still like, yo,
Mm.
this is cool, man. Like this, or I think we two shot it or something like that, and it was like, dude, this is still a cool boss. I'm still happy. It was still fun. Okay, let's move on
Yeah.
to the next one, sure, but like it was still fun, and just the visual clarity, everything just starts to be more vibrant. Everything just pops. It just, it's well oiled, man. It just is well
Yeah.
oiled. But I
They got
loved
the formula down.
Alexander. Yeah, I loved Alexander. I still think that AA is my favorite fight in this game. Probably, it's hard. I've got a
Mm.
lot of contenders for favorite fight, but
Okay.
I think
It's
it's
good
like
to hear.
one of, yeah. Mm. You don't
Like
really like AA, do you? You're like,
I
fuck.
do like AA. No,
Oh,
I do like
okay,
AA,
okay.
and I actually think that we're doing really well on it, and I
Mm.
enjoy the strats that we've made so far, and I'm not feeling like any burnout actually. People were like saying like AA is the one you're gonna like burn out, like this one's really draining and exhausting and stuff. Maybe my raid team feels that, but I'm really enjoying AA so far because I feel like we're actually cooking up like cool strats and we're working stuff out, and the progress has felt fairly linear. Like we're getting to a point, then we break through it, then we get to a point, then we break through it. We've not been like progressing, like having to reprogress. We haven't been like getting stuck at walls. We haven't been like getting wiping in P1 and stuff. Like it's just felt like we're just consistently going through like chart trending upwards or whatever, which I'm really glad about. How, maybe that'll change Monday. I'm not sure. We're at the J kick right now on Brute Justice, which is like the intermission it seems when he jumps away. So maybe the fight just goes fucking tits up after that. I think I've cooked what I expect the fight to be, but like
Mhm.
until boss dead now, I think I know what to expect. So it's a matter of executing it, but we are getting back to brute justice like pretty consistently now, which is good. And
Mhm.
we're only like 97 pulls in, I think, so that's pretty nice. So I'm hoping there's no crazy twists and turns. Chat's probably going to shrews and smile and stuff, and I see
Yeah.
you're smirking a little bit.
Dude, I'm so
So
normally I'm so good at keeping a straight face on this podcast, and I will mess with you so often, but I'm so tired that like I couldn't even hold it back, bro. I just started smiling. Yeah, no, good luck on AA. You're gonna have fun. I'm
yeah,
sure
yeah, I think
nothing
so.
else is gonna happen. You do that intermission, bada bing, bada boom, boss dead. Cool, have fun, man. Enjoy.
Easy,
Collect your loot.
easy.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Like your loot,
You'll probably
punch,
get.
punch through the last four.
Honestly, you probably kill it Monday. So
I think we have a good chance to kill Monday.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Um. So yeah, that's where we're at. But going back to my original point before we sidetracked a little bit, like regarding blind rating and stuff. Like I said, I think it's harder than coils and stuff, and I don't know if it's like the difference in comp, like you mentioned how I make my comp. I don't know how you make your comps actually. Like, do you pick people that have raid experience? Do you pick people that don't have raid experience? How do you pick your rosters?
I probably am going to change my approach going forward because of how I'm switching up the raids. I normally kind of just. So, what I did for Omega is just. I would just. Each day, just take a raid team. And I would
Oh,
just
just
sign
people
it
in
up
chat,
and just like whoever signed up. But people would
right?
sandbag and everything. And like, they'd be. So, like, it was very authentic. But yeah, I would kind of just take people. But it was. Omega was actually like really tough because people would like come for a raid and then they maybe couldn't make the next day or the or they could make like 2 days but then not the third day, and then like I had to do so much reprog, and I think honestly that's the thing that maybe started to break me in that parts because
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
like
for sure.
I'd have people that would kind of like step in and they'd be like, okay, I can do like I'd start the day with someone and then like 2 hours in something would come up and they'd have to leave, which is obviously totally chill, life happens, but then someone
Yeah,
else would be like, right, I can step in for like an hour but I can't do
yeah.
the full thing, and then I go, okay, cool, and then like someone else would be like, right, I'm ready after that hour. So I'd sort of
I'm
like
having the same thing.
I'd
Yeah.
have like one day where I'd have like sometimes I had a couple changes per time, so the group at the start of the day and the end of the day would just be very different. You maybe have 2 or 3 people changed,
Quite
and then
frustrating.
it can be frustrating, but at the same time, you got to think about like it's an inconvenience, but like in the grand scheme, we're so lucky that we can be doing what we're doing. Even
Oh
the
yeah.
other day, I did an alliance raid and I managed to get 23 people. We came to OCE, which was really cute because we got everyone to be able to get involved, and we had 23 people from chat come in. They all purposely sandbagged. It was hilarious. We had like a boss would do a mechanic and just 10 people would die. He would just
Yeah.
just clean out a bunch, and it was so good. It's like we're so lucky, and I'm so appreciative of this Final Fantasy community for letting us do this and holding our
Yeah.
hand, and just like, I mean, sometimes I'll be cooking bosses and I'm there for hours just stuck on simple things, and the fact that nobody vents,
Like
nobody gets
splurges.
frustrated,
Yeah.
nobody like,
Yeah.
people just let it happen, and so genuinely like so appreciative of all that. So yeah, thanks
Yeah.
chat.
Thanks, chats. We're definitely like very lucky to have people that are willing to do that for us, because like most people, like, you know, when I put out my sign up sheets and stuff, like I would never even get to do coils, or like there's no groups going for this, there's no people doing Alexander. Like the fact that we can host that is cool, but also the fact that like we're in a position, like you said, that people would actually just like want to enjoy it, want to participate, and have the patience for it as
Mm.
well. It's like, because the average player can't just be like, oh, I'll just put up a party in Party Finder and wait till people come and do Alexander with me because I want to play it on minimum eye level no egalo. No one's gonna do that, you know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
like the fact that we actually like, I do constantly say this, but like we would actually just be nothing without the chats, like without the people in chat. Like we would just be someone talking to ourselves and other
Dude,
people.
if yeah, think about it as well. Not only that, but if it wasn't for that level 8 hype train today, you wouldn't be able to buy a new clutch for your car tomorrow. So
True.
you'd get in a
Thanks, guys.
car crash, and
Yeah.
and you'd be no more. So yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
that
chat
is true.
for level
And I
8 hype
need
train.
that car to get to the gym so I can
There you
work on
go.
my health. There
You'd
you
be
go.
small, and
I
instead of
oh,
being yoked, you know, you're gonna end up
yeah.
being small strummer, you know. So we can't have that, chat.
Yeah.
We gotta get Russ large. So
Large
yeah,
boy coming through.
thanks, chat.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
But going back to the roster thing then, like, so do you just take people and it doesn't matter if they've done it, or do most people end up being people who know the raid and they just stay silent and sandbag, like you said?
No, honestly,
Or
because
is it just
we
like whatever?
naturally
It's
get a
just the
good
first eight
mix a lot
people.
of the time.
Okay.
Because we're doing the order raids, a lot of people haven't really done them, so we do genuinely get a good mix. I
Mhm.
think going forward, Eden will probably be hard to find people who are interested and capable but haven't done it yet.
Right.
I've not really considered in
It's fine
raiding.
if you want to solo cook it though,
Yeah, like
because they can
I
just
don't
stay
know how
quiet, right?
much. I'll probably, because I'm going to be spacing out the content, I probably will solo cook it because it's like I'm spacing out the content and just take little hints here and there. But I've not really thought too much about how like good the people are in my team, because you automatically assume that you're just kind of the worst player there because you're the newest
Mm.
probably.
Yeah.
So I've
I
not
always want to be
really.
the worst there.
Yeah, same, right? Like you kind of want to be, because then you want to be the one like sort of letting the team down. You want to like shoulder that
Yeah.
burden, don't you? You want to be like,
Hmm.
hey,
Yeah.
it's my bad, and we're just gonna do our best, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I've not really like considered that kind of thing. So I've not really like considered it when I'm bringing people to content. I kind of just go off of who's there and who can commit time. It's normally like, it doesn't matter how good you are. It doesn't matter if you've done this before. I just need you. I just need you to be able to play for like 3 or 4 hours today, and as long as you can do that, cool. Even if you have to go and we have to replace you and stuff, no sweat.
Mm.
Like, even if you just do a couple. So yeah, that's mainly how I've been doing it.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because we've had issues, at least on A6, like a lot of the reprogramming, like you said, like life comes up. I always understand that. Like I think the fact that people even give us their time in the first place, like their attention in the
Mhm.
first place, is like we can't really get entitled over that because everyone's got their own lives. Like there's people who watch my stream like the entire stream every time I stream, so it's like they're giving me like 20 hours plus of their time per week, right? Like that's a really really valuable resource, and the fact that they're even there just like watching the stream is like incredible. The fact that they then want to like take that a step further and join the raids as well, like I get that it happens, but it's also like within reason, right? Like if you, because I've done it on like an application form process, the people that I selected based on like a range of skill levels. So we have like one person in our current one who's done these raids before. Everyone else is blind. Um, and then there are varying skill levels. Some people have like done like no raiding experience. Then there's me who should be the least really. And then there's like a couple people who have like dotted a couple savage fights, maybe some extremes, but nothing on like min-eye level, etc. So I think that I try to do my best from what I can do and be like, we're gonna raid this day, that day next week, and we're not gonna raid this day, that week. Like, they've signed up to be like, I can raid stream days within reason unless something comes up, and that's fine. But
Yeah.
I try and also do my part and communicate like I'm not planning to raid this day, so don't rush home or don't feel like you need to stay home or don't feel like you need to watch the stream. Yeah. Because like sometimes people have been like, all right, I made it, and I'm like, oh, we're not reading for like 2 more hours. Like I did say that, but like obviously sometimes it gets lost in translation or memos get missed and stuff. So I tried to do that, but then it's like when this tier at least we've had a lot of times when people have just like 10 minutes before we're supposed to raid, they'll be like, oh yeah, I can't make it today, and I'm like, because then like the exact same situation happens like you. I'm like, okay, can someone from chat fill in? And someone's like, well, I can play for 2 hours. I'm like, okay, well, that's good, but then we're gonna spend 2 hours teaching that person the fight, and then they're gonna jump out again. And it's like then we have to get a new person, teach them the fight, or a different person has to drop out or something. And A6 was just like the absolute epitome of that from my experience so far, where we probably rotated like an entire another 8 people roster like through that
Yep.
boss before killing it.
Yep.
And it just got to the point where I was like, it's not fun anymore.
Not
So
fun
then I
for
was
me.
like, it's not fun for me anymore because
Yeah.
because it's coupled with the whole I don't have a plan for this mechanic yet. So it's like teaching someone to fight, and then we finally get there, and then we don't have a plan. So we're like getting through all these teething issues with new players, and we still don't even know like if we manage to get through and the stars align and they learn it quickly, we still don't know what we're doing later. So it's like we're like min-eye level, no echo. I feel like that adds like the tuning to the fight, right? Like where it tunes it to a point where it's like fun and difficult, and then the blind is like an added element, and then the roster is like another one on top of that. So it's like
Yeah.
quadrupling up on like affixes essentially.
Yeah.
And then it just like gets a bit too much, and it's like, okay, well, if I'm gonna have to deal with roster issues, maybe I want to take a hint from chat on a mechanic kind of thing. And like then I'm like, shit, but the other people that signed up for blind rating, so then like, do we lose the integrity of the kill in their eyes if I take a hint from chat? So I'm like, am I allowed to take a hint? Like, is the rest of the group okay with this? I know at the end of the day they're just here to hang out and do a fun thing with the stream, right? But it's like, do they feel like they're like, it's not just my achievement because they're also doing first time savage rating and they're also doing first time blind rating. So like, does that take away from
Yeah. You feel
their
like you have a
experience?
responsibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I have to keep their experience and the integrity of like what they signed up for
I think
intact, So
honestly,
it's really
like
difficult for me.
for me, I would say that it's your stream, and if anyone says anything that goes against you, then just ban them. You know.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't keep a straight face today. I can't. Okay, I can't mess with. Okay, chat. I can't mess with Russ at all today because I can't keep a straight face.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I keep laughing today.
It's after 11 p.m. It's
It's
after
after
midnight
11.
now, isn't it?
I'm like a little gremlin. I've had a cup of tea past 11. It's like I go.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Just ban those idiots.
ban those nerds. No,
I mean,
yeah, go
some
on.
people have said that though. Like they're like, well, at the end of the day, it is your stream, and if you're not having fun, we're not having fun, stuff like this. But like, I try if I'm gonna take a hint, I'm gonna be like, is everyone okay with this? But then like, if one person says no, like, what do I do? I've not been in
You
that
should.
situation yet, but it's like, if one person says no, like they're like, well, I signed up to blind raid. I'm like, oh shit, like then are we at like an impasse, like compatibility wise and stuff like that? I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't
I
know
would
where
just.
to
You
go
could
from that.
just say like when you start a boss, you can just be like, look, if we do reach a certain point, I will like. You just say like I have final say on whether or not we take a hint, and like, unfortunately, there's a chance that we will do that, yada yada yada, but it'll always be within reason and stuff.
Mm.
So yeah. What's funny is you actually mentioned about doing like a sign up, and so people can like apply, and then you'll take them based on certain criteria. I actually found it funny. Like, I showed some people the other day, a few weeks ago, like what a World of Warcraft guild application looks like.
Oh,
And
that's
then
cool. That's an
they,
interesting stream idea.
yeah.
Yoink.
Sorry guys, we're not doing any. Sorry guys, Russ isn't going to be doing Sephiroth today because he's going to be busy looking at World of Warcraft applications.
I can show them my guild's app because I ran a guild.
Yeah.
I'll show you the difference between like a cesspool guild, which has like explain your rotation bit by bit, and then my guild, which is super chill, where it's like link your logs. Can you play the hours? Like, do you press buttons? Good. All right, you're in. Like,
Yeah.
Like there's such a spectrum of guild apps. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the more common one in World of Warcraft is the like. Well, I mean, I told people that you have to upload a picture of your UI about how that's pretty standard, and they were like,
"Oh, I hate that.
That's so invasive. Like, are you kidding me?" I was like, "Yeah, I know, right?" Like.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I've always been like the UI question's weird. Like, why do they need to see my UI? If it works for me, it works for me. Like, that's
and
fine.
Also, you're taking like a mid snapshot of like, do you want to see like a certain mechanic?
Yeah.
What it looked like.
Yeah, they're like, please upload a picture of your UI in a raiding environment, so that we can see your like raid frames, we can see your DBM timers, like how your weak auras look and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really weird question.
Yeah.
I always just leave it blank, and then they DM me and they're like, "Your UI though, bro, like we need to see it." I'm like, "No, you fucking don't. Fuck off!" Like, it's so weird. It's such a weird question. Like, you should just be able to tell if you want a player based on like they link their logs. You can tell if they press their buttons. You can delve into the logs as much or as little as you want. You can look at the pass numbers to be like 99 pass that obviously pumps, or you can look into them and be like, this guy dies all the time, right?
Yeah, some people have absolutely disgusting UIs, but they're incredible players, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, it's supposed to be comfortable. That's like, oh, show me what, like, you know, show me like your shoes. Let me see your feet. Like, let me see what size your feet are.
Yeah.
Shoes. And like,
exactly.
You know, it's like,
I just walk on my feet. Like, it doesn't matter.
What do you work at Nickelodeon or something, bro? Like, relax, you know, like, leave me alone. This is personal, okay? Yeah, I think I was just telling chat, like, I think in Final Fantasy it seems so much more chill applying to like a static.
Yeah.
It does very much just seem like because this was something really cool that my friend was telling me about. CC Lemon, again, I can't stop bringing him up. I love that guy. But he was telling me like you can sign up to a PF, and you can say what point of the fight, or you can sign it up and you can be like, right, we're on phase 1, or we're at like the 80% mechanic, or we're at like XYZ, and you can apply to it, prove that you're at that point as well, and then you can progress from that point. And let's say you start a group that's at the 80% point, and then you prog that night until the 60% point. Then like next time you go to apply, you can apply it to a group that's starting at the 60% point. So you can sort of like naturally just progress through.
Yeah.
Which sounds like so cool. You could just really like.
I do like that.
Really mix and match how you wanna prog a fight, and you can like really hone in on starting exactly where you kind of want to be comfortable, which sounds really cool. But yeah, some of the WoW guild.
I heard most people lie about that though.
They lie about
PF like prog points, yeah. They're like, oh, we're stuck at this mechanic, and then they're actually like 2 mechanics before that part or something.
Yeah.
And then everyone.
I guess in that case you would leave, right?
Yeah. It's their own fault if you leave at that point. Yeah. But that's cool because like, sorry, you can go back to what you were going to say. It's like the possibility of like hugging an end game mythic boss, like past the first 3 or 4 in a tier in WoW is, like you can't do that unless you've got a group of people who, like you know a guy who knows a guy who organizes a mythic pug made of all these top end players, and they just do it once a week on alts or something.
Yeah,
like that's possible for a pug. Like there used to be a thing in WoW called it was like raidfinder.io or something like that, and you could like I used to schedule mythic pug clears for like full clear for like Hellfire Citadel back in Legion. And it was great. Like I had all these players from all over EU who would like come to my pug weekly, and we would just take a new alt every week and gear up and stuff. It was really good fun and a really great website. I don't know why I ever died, but like you'd never see like Farak phase 2 progress or whatever, and I think that's because like the mythic lockout exists. I think if that wasn't a thing in WoW, people could just jump in and be like, well, like if it worked like heroic, it's like, hey, we're
Yeah.
doing Farak right now. Um, we're at 60%. Come progress it for a bit, and then people can be like, oh, we got to 20%, and then they can look for a 20%
Yeah.
group that's going for the kill or something. Like the fact that that exists in FF is really cool to me.
Yeah.
Like you can do PF, but you're probably walking through glass to get there, like compared to a static. But the fact that it's possible
Mhm.
is huge, I think.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people have very successful PF raids that then
Oh
maybe
yeah,
turns into a more regular thing because it just works, right? You find a group that you mesh with, and that's something that I
people
think
PF
is really
multis.
beautiful about FF is that it encourages you. The social element encourages you to explore your options, like. The fact that you aren't restricted with a lot of the stuff, because this is the thing in World of Warcraft, guys, which is what me and Russ are obviously used to. Like, if you go into the highest level difficulty of raiding and you kill the first boss, then you're saved to that raid. You now can't go into a different raid. Like, that's it. So if you then fail, your group wipes on the second boss and everyone leaves, you
You
got to try
can't
to get
play
next
that
week.
week. You got to wait a week,
Whereas
or
in
you've got to
Final
make your
Fantasy,
own
like,
run
yeah, or you got to make your own run, which is not, no one's going to come to a run where
and
bosses are
hope
already
that
dead.
no run made their own run because it's the same lockout.
Yeah,
So if you
exactly.
try and make a group and you go inside, you might not be able to enter because someone else had the same idea as you and they've made their own raid and they're inside that lockout. Like it's a finite thing. So they're like essentially it's like a bus that can only hold 20 people. They're already filling the whole bus and you can't get in, even though you went and turned up with a group and you've got the same save as them. Like that's the fact that you're in the same save. They're bringing more people into your save when you're not even affiliated with them anymore.
Russ,
It's really dumb system.
I don't think that example is really going to make sense because I'm pretty sure everyone in chat drives a Ferrari, bro. So
Oh,
I don't think they know what a bus is.
it's okay, a boat that can only hold 20 people.
They have a Ferrari boat. They don't.
A 20-seater Ferrari, all right? You can't fit 21 people in it.
Ferrari. But yeah, no, it's, you know, I used to phrase a lot of stuff with, Final Fantasy and be like, oh well, I'm going to talk about WoW and how it's different, but like, I actually want to focus things on being like, this is how awesome Final Fantasy system is, because I think there's probably a lot of people that don't understand how good Final Fantasy
Yeah,
is
how
in
they
so
good they
many
have it.
ways. Like, and I
Yeah.
think that's a good way of presenting it sometimes, because it's like, I think you could very easily take a lot of things for granted. But I wanted to mention as well, have you seen, did you watch Lamatod's recent video on like the 10 things that Dawn Trail needs to succeed? Did you watch that at all?
I was gonna maybe do a react to it, but I didn't know if there's any spoilers, so I haven't watched it
There's
yet.
some your chat can probably pre-watch and tell you when to avoid certain things. Like I skipped a couple of the sections, but I watched that. Dude, did you know that there is a third-party tool that recreates the fight of a boss, so
This is like a sim thing.
you can run around as your
Yeah, yeah,
character.
yeah, yeah. I've heard about it from Ponto. I think he mentioned it when I was over in Belfast with him, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like people run sims for like certain mechanics they're stuck on and stuff, and like it just puts your little character in a little like online browser game or some shit, right? And then you just run around and do the mechanic, so you don't have to like get
Yeah,
to
but
that
it's
point in the
like,
game. It sounds OP as hell.
but from what I saw, it's like you're actually like, because you know there's like games that come out like there's like that pineapple one on WoW, but it's
Yeah.
like it's literally like what's it called? It's like 8-bit, right? So it's like
8-bit, yeah.
it's not really real, right? And it's like an 8-bit recreation of a fight. No, this is like you're running around as a Lollipop. Like I saw a clip of like Pontish and it's like you're running around as an actual character and stuff, which just sounds insane to me. Like that sounds like
Yeah.
you just gain.
Who's developing this? Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's crazy. Yeah.
I don't. But then, for me, it begs the question of like, should this be something that exists and is like integrated into the game? Because that's something that I really would want to do. Is like, I kind of like it, but I also think it could be dangerous because people could get way too good at raiding way too quickly.
Yeah.
But I think it's. And then it's kind of like, do you even bother doing the fight if you could just do the sim and you can go, oh, that's good enough for me, I beat the sim, you know what I mean? Like some people might just be
Fuck
like,
that.
you know,
Yeah, some people will
like,
be wet about that, but
yeah. But
I mean,
I
it
think
sounds really good for something like where we explain like you get to a point and then you're like, oh, I'm kind of stuck at this point. Like, you don't want to do the first 6 minutes to get to that mechanic, so you can just practice that mechanic and then be like, yeah, we got it like 9 out of 10 times on the sim. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, like you're gonna apply to a PF, and the PF is like, you know, X boss. Please link how many successful sims you have
Oh
achieved. And
god.
he's like, I have
No,
over
that's such a WoW player thing, isn't it?
238 successful simulations,
Yeah,
Captain. And they're
link the
like,
proof. Yeah,
welcome aboard. You know,
yeah.
like
200 sims complete or don't apply for my plus 16 key.
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
By the way, it's good at learning more information. I know that you guys in chat are in Russ's chat are giving a lot of insight into these things that we're obviously discussing and like giving like weighing in, giving more knowledge. So appreciate it.
Yeah,
That's very much appreciated. And I am reading some of this. Apparently, everyone lies when they're saying that everyone lies about when they sign up to a group. They always say that they're one progress point further than they actually are, which is just it's just funny. It's just funny, but. Yeah, it's
like
stuff. Oh yeah, go.
the group listed is listing that they're one mechanic ahead of what they're actually at.
I think
And then
everyone's
everyone
lying.
applying is listing one mechanic. So you've actually got like a 2 mechanic get difference between the point that's said and where they're actually getting stuck.
And then they're gonna fail the mechanic, and then you're gonna be like, "Man, these guys suck," even though literally no one in the group knows the mechanic.
Yeah.
You said you knew the mechanic, and then like actually nobody knows. I think there are other things that you wanted to kind of go into besides like obviously we've spoken a lot about raiding and stuff in general. Have you been doing anything else lately that's been getting you thinking and getting you going, or like have there been any sort of like not necessarily revelations but things that you've been holding on to and going like, man, I really want to talk about this thing? Because I've got like maybe one or two, but I obviously want to hear from anything that
I've just been very focused on raiding. I've only just started bringing back like trials into it, thinking about leveling up other jobs and stuff. So nothing eye-opening and crazy. So you can hit it with your takes if you want.
Yeah, sure. I gotta think now what I was gonna mention about. Oh, I think I was gonna talk about I think I remember talking there was something that I wanted to bring up about like social elements of Final Fantasy that I think is like the core of why this game is so successful and like wanting to really nurture that. Something that I've noticed with Final Fantasy players is that they seem to understand that keeping new sprouts, because obviously MMOs, they're kind of like an old genre. No young kids are really, well, I'm not going to say no, but I doubt there's many young kids and like teenagers and stuff getting into the MMO scene, because realistically, people normally play games when they're new and they kind of get up hype. And I guess you get expansions and stuff, but you don't get hyped about the 5th expansion of a game if you've not played the original, right? Because it doesn't mean anything to you. So unless like new MMOs come out, I don't think there's probably going to be like these big surges of new players all the time. But what I think is really awesome that I've noticed is that Final Fantasy players seem to understand that their game is not going to succeed in the long term if they don't have a consistent influx of sprouts that they then show a good time, right? Like, you want to impress the sprouts, because if you do that, then they'll stay. And then they'll develop a really good connection with the game and the community, and then they will then pass that forward. And it feels like Final Fantasy players have really, like, they really understand that. They understand that they can't afford to give a bad experience to a sprout, because you're potentially severing someone's connection with the game, or like giving them negative experiences which might push them away from it. And this is something, again, I don't need to make a WoW comparison. For me, that's just good enough to say just that, but I guess I will, just to touch on and say, like, that's something that I think World of Warcraft players haven't quite figured out yet. They see a new player and they see it as like, this person is a
noob. A burden.
This person, this person is preventing me from achieving X. And I 100%. Think that that's something that needs to change in that MMO. And I just think that I really like, that's something that's really been eye-opening to me as I've been playing through Stormblood and Shadowbringers. Like, this is just something that's really been sticking with me, and so I just wanted to mention it and just kind of voice it. But have you
You should
kind of
make a video on that.
found? Yeah, you think? Are you gonna
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yoinkies? Yeah, no, I think that'd be
I might
good. I
yoink
think,
it. I'll let
yeah,
your video cook, and then I'll
yeah,
recreate it later down the line.
yeah, for sure.
But
It's
you definitely should, because like that is so true. Like I didn't really think about it like that, but you see that with everything, like streaming, for example. Like if you're not bringing in new viewers, your stream's dying, right? Like
mhm.
everything has drop off, everything has fall off.
Is
Like
that why your
you're not
chat
just gonna
keeps
flatline.
sniffing first-time chatters? Because I noticed
Yeah,
that every time there's a
yeah.
first-time chatter,
You gotta
you
look
get
after the new
you
chatters,
guys
because
start
like
sniffing them.
yeah, because like people drop off all the time, right? Like you can't just be like, okay, I got my bulk and it's
Yeah,
gonna be like this forever. Like
yeah,
having expectance on that is obviously just delusional at that point. So you always need to keep bringing in new people. And I've noticed as well, like my chat is really good at like welcoming in new players, and it doubles up if they're a new chatter and a sprout, because like if they say I'm a new player to the game and I'm new to the stream, people are like, oh shit, like ask us anything, like we can help you, come join Discord, like DM me if you need help. Like people are so up for that. It's like kind of crazy, and like you said, it's just night and day compared to WoW. Like just one other night and day comparison we can make with FF and
yeah.
WoW, which is like community based. Like you said,
Based.
like these guys in chat said, it's like the sprouts are like the lifeblood of the game, because without them, people, like everyone eventually quits everything, right? Like for one reason or another, life comes up, they change a different game, they just like different things. Like it's fine, but you need to give a good experience for the people who are giving you their time. Like it's a trade, like they're trying out your game to like forward your overall player base and community and stuff. And if you make that like a symbiotic relationship or whatever, then, or like mutually beneficial, I suppose, then
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
everyone will enjoy it, and it'll just work out better for everyone, I think.
Yeah.
You should 100% do a video on that.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. It's just something that I've been really like hanging on to lately, and I think it's something that I'm trying to like put forward and just say like hold on to this, don't lose this, because this truly is. Oh my god, that's so beautiful. I got this butterfly sitting on my shoulder, not shitting on my shoulder, it's sitting on my shoulder. It's lovely.
Yeah,
Um,
you just take a screenshot.
yeah, of course I took a screenshot, man. Yeah, it's lovely.
I
That's so
heard
cute.
that. Yeah.
Ching.
We
Yeah,
actually just
it's.
had someone follow a new chat. So fifth
Oh yeah.
red dust, we're taking care of you. Welcome.
Yo,
Wave to him,
bam.
Psy.
Oh,
Yo. There you go.
nice.
Easy clap.
Welcome,
Nice.
welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, look after them, chat. Um, yeah, so I think it's something that I for sure like want to kind of explore more of, and I just think yeah, it's so important going forward for the future of the MMO. But I also then wanted to ask you, unless you had anything else to touch on with this one, what do you think about the in-game crossover events? Have you had a chance to do the FF15 one, the FF16 one? What do you think about these things?
I really like them. They're not too long that it feels like a chore. They're just like a nice little, like pinch of salt and pepper. Just like, ooh, some seasoning. Like we can just do a nice little couple hours, or if even that. Some of them are super short, right? Like
Mhm.
we had the one, like they seem to be just going back to back to back to back right now. It's like because it's downtime period, they're just like, okay, well we don't have much content in the game right now, so let's just throw, you know, fucking this event, that event, this event, that event, and I think they're good. Like they have good rewards. They don't take very long. Like it gives you, in a way, like especially when they do crosses between their own games, it's like, oh, maybe I want to go try out FF16 now, kind of thing, right? Like if you weren't already, you might, because it gives you like a little
Oh, I'm
intro
definitely
experience,
going
a
to.
little, yeah, like a little bit of an introductory experience. I haven't done the FF16 one, but I've done all the other ones, and I will do the FF16 one. I've done every event since I signed up to the game, right?
The
Um,
FF16 one is actually pretty sick. Do you mind? There's a component with the fight that I actually think is really cool, and I would potentially want to see it be explored
okay.
in the game further. Chat, do you think it's not a big spoiler me talking about this thing? Do you think for the event? I'll double check if your chat is cool with it. If they think it's reasonable to
Okay.
talk about, because I just never know with this game. I'm never ahead of anyone. Yeah, it's not a spoiler. I don't think it's a spoiler either. It's like it's not like a spoiler. It's just like An extra, yeah, not really a spoiler. Okay, so basically in the fight, you get like an extra action button, and you can like
Hmm.
dodge, and it allows you to like dodge like the
Oh
boss's
yeah,
mechanics and stuff, which is kind of cool. It's like
they had
similar
the
to.
same for the 15 one, right? Like
Oh,
you
did
had
they?
the double thing. You know, you fight with Noctis,
Oh,
and he's like,
yeah.
you like do like the double up thing, and you can like you have to like move out of the Garuda stuff, and then you like ping back in,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
and you had to like ping to the rock to escape
yeah,
her like sucky thing and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Escape the sucker. Yeah, this is
Escape
kind of
the
like that.
sucker.
It's
Yeah.
like an iframe dodge kind of thing, but it's actually kind of cool. It feels like
Okay.
you're playing like Elden Ring or something like that in a
Hmm.
way. Like, um, but I was thinking like, oh, this would be kind of cool to not necessarily add into like every fight, but maybe explore it in future fights and
Yeah.
gauge if people like it or not. Because I could see it being like really cool. Like, it feels pretty sick if you can do, if you can like make it look good, and
Mm.
like do some cool moves. So yeah, I liked it,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think the in-game events in general are like, I really like that they do the crossovers. It is so funny though because everything is just like, I've realized that every character and every boss in this game is a reference to another Final Fantasy. Even the music, like every time, like everything,
Yeah, I mean, all the
everything that I
jobs are
do.
made. All the
Yeah,
jobs are based off all the other FF
yeah,
games. Like people are
yeah,
like, "Oh yeah, Lancer Dragoon, that's like a FF1 game and stuff," and I'm like,
yeah.
"Huh?" Like I thought they made them for this
Nope.
game. And it's like they just were like, "Oh, that's a cool fantasy. Let's put it in."
Yeah, no, like Pictomancer, for example, that was in like FF3 or something,
Yeah.
and yeah, like they just, yeah, it's a theme park. It's a theme park. It's like the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They just like they keep just like pulling from all these different areas. Like for example, Omega has a lot of bosses from various Final Fantasies, which I thought was like really quite cool. But yeah, it's funny. But no, I do like the events. I think they're quite cute that they had them.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gives you like stuff to do in downtime, nice rewards. Like Two Soft has just said in my chat, like it's actually the only. It's a good point, really. Like it's the only FOMO content they actually have in this game, like stuff you can actually
Hmm.
miss, because like they're really good at not doing FOMO in here. Like the whole philosophy is like we don't want you to feel pressure to log in. But I mean, they keep the events long enough. Like it's like they keep them running like a month most of the time and stuff. So it's like, can you get 2 hours to play in a whole month? It's not asking a lot, but it is if they're unsubbed at the time, and it's like, oh, I really want the FF15 car, like the Regalia, for example. Like, do I need to get a resub now for that? Because it might not come back for like I think it's 3 years between this time and the previous time or something. So
Yeah, I
for those
don't know off
kind
the
of
top of my head,
things.
but yeah. Mm. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I think see, this is funny because this is another conversation, like briefly mentioning other MMOs, mentioning WoW. Like, I don't know if you kept an eye on things, but like WoW has just announced this like Mists of Pandaria throwback event that's like a
Yes.
limited time event. But then on
Yeah, that
top of
sounds
that,
weird.
they're also doing Cataclysm Classic, and then on
Mm.
top of that they've got sod, or Season of
Hmm.
Discovery, with like the various phases. So it's a seasonal piece of content that then has phases that are sort of like FOMO, because you're like, oh, I missed the phase with the really cool thing that I wanted to do there. So like,
Yeah.
there's that. Then there's the seasonal element of retail WoW, which is like seasonal Mythic Plus score, seasonal raid, doing that tier and then moving on. So it's like, WoW. Oh, and then there's Plunderstorm, which is a seasonal based event as well, which is this new WoW
Yeah.
BR. And it's like, WoW is just going so
To be fair, I think that
heavily.
one they wanted to just test it out.
Yeah,
Thunderstorm.
sure,
And I
sure,
think
sure,
it's
sure.
gone well. Yeah, go
But
ahead anyway.
do you like? Do you think? Because part of me is looking at it skeptically and thinking, "Ooh, I don't know that I like FOMO in an MMO." Depending on what the content is, like an in-game event, like you
Mm.
say, or like some stuff like that, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I don't mind that. A rare mount maybe that comes in and then disappears, or like a glamour set or something comes in, disappears, maybe goes on the store at some point or something, like, okay, sure. But in general, I don't think I really like the FOMO element. But at the same time, I'm
Yeah, like
wondering
seasonal
if,
games.
yeah, because it's a seasonal game, which is the opposite of what an MMO should be. An MMO should be like, log into the game, you can do anything, go pick something to grind, and then go grind it. It shouldn't be like, I need to grind this thing today, because if I don't get it today, then it's gone forever,
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
gone. Yeah,
it's
I
like this
missed it.
stress and pressure. But then I want to play devil's advocate here. Do you think that actually World of War or Blizzard are kind of ahead of the curve when it comes to MMOs, and maybe like sort of the future of MMOs is seasonal FOMO content lasting, you know, a month to 3 months at a time? Do you think, because I've actually thought about it a little bit and I've thought actually this might just work if you could have enough things that are just like, you know, this event, this event, this event, this event. It's like, because
Yeah,
games these
if
days
they
are
produce
like,
enough.
yeah,
It's like being a news YouTube channel. Like it's not evergreen. Like you just like you make it, everyone loves it. Like it gets big views for the first day, and then it's dead. And same thing with
yeah,
season. Like they're always really hype for like 3 days, and then they die off. And I
yeah,
think some people, you know, like to play devil's advocate again. There's definitely two sides to the coin. Like I've heard people say they 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 kind of like seasonal servers or the seasonal
hmm,
events and stuff because they're like, I don't have to be as invested. Like
they
I
like
can
a
skip a
fresh
season if I,
start, yeah, hmm,
yeah, it's like I like to just be like, I'll play it till I'm not fun, like till I'm not having fun, and then I stop it. Like I don't have to be playing it for the long term. I don't have to be like, oh, I'm signing up for this many months or this many years. In some cases, like they're just like, cool, I can play it for a week and then I can forget about it. Like same, I think Blizzard, I suppose, like they should have enough data on this with Diablo though, because they've been doing Diablo seasons for years and years and years at this point, and like they always had like like everyone. Did you have that as well? Like everyone goes back for a D3 season for
uh-huh,
like 2 days, and then
yep.
everyone like cold turkey quits D3 for like 3 months,
Same
and it
with
would just
PoE,
happen
yep,
every time. Yeah, and it's like they generate huge hype waves, but like I don't know if that's like a sustainable business model. Like the
yeah.
people that enjoy it. That's fine. But I don't know if like maybe they should be like an optional side thing rather than like the whole
The
mentality
main
of
content,
the
yeah.
game.
Well, it's
And
just
like
like,
Blizzard specifically, they like they're sundering, like someone said in chat, like sundering their player base. Like they have like eight. They have like five different versions of the game currently active, and they're adding another one, another two, well another one I suppose, because Wrath will progress. But yeah.
yeah, I mean, because, okay, I know, like, some people in chat are like, oh, you know, that's, I don't know, like, all bad take or whatever, but it's like, I'm not saying that that's what the opinion that I have. I'm not saying, like, I even prefaced it by saying I don't really like FOMO seasonal content. I prefer, like, my MMOs to be long term. But
Hmm.
I'm wondering if that is the way to attract younger audiences where, like, because I don't know about you, but like for me, I have friends where we literally have like game of the week, and it's a meme in my group chat
Okay.
where it's like our friend will convince everyone to buy a game, play it for a
We
week,
have
and then
that.
drop
Yeah.
it, right? Like yeah,
Yeah.
because
We have that.
everyone does. So if your MMO is so long term, you might be like, oh man, that's such a daunting undertaking. But if it's like, yo, just come play this, it's only gonna last a couple weeks, like then we can move on. I don't know, like I can kind of see the positives of that in some ways, because you know, like look at Fortnite. Fortnite redoes the map every 2 weeks, right? Where like they have the Travis Scott, like Cardi B, like music
That's not every two
concert.
weeks, is it?
No,
They
no,
do it
no.
like
But you know
every.
what I mean? Like yeah, like every
Yeah,
few,
yeah.
every like
It
month
keeps
or
it
two, or
fresh
whatever.
though,
They like
right?
yeah, exactly, right.
Yeah.
So
It's
you
like
know,
it's like once a year, I think they do a big
yeah,
event,
yeah, and I mean, you
and I
know,
think that's fine. Yeah.
yeah. Go on. No, go ahead, go ahead.
Well, I think it's like you said, it's striking a middle ground because I think it's also a trap if you only make it long-term investment. Like
Mhm.
the amount of people that refuse straight up to try FF, who are from like my WoW viewers or like WoW friends and stuff, they like refuse to try it because they're like, I've played WoW for 15 years. I don't want to like it's the sunk cost thing. Like
Yeah.
I don't want to like throw that away. It's like you're not throwing it away. Like I joined my old like late last night. I actually joined my old guild Discord. I saw a couple of people chatting in there, and I was like, went in. They were like, both of them were like, God, I hate retail WoW, and I'm like, why are you playing it then? And they're like, well, what else would I do? I'm like, anything,
Yeah. Yeah.
literally anything with your time, and like, please sell me on it. And I'm like, go outside, go do something, play a different game, try Final Fantasy. Literally do
Fall in
anything
love.
except
You
the
know what I
thing you're
mean?
straight up telling me that you don't enjoy spending your
Yeah.
time doing. And they're like, what? Like they couldn't comprehend it. They were like, what do you mean just do something else? I'm like, just close WoW, uninstall it, tell your raid leader you don't want to play anymore, and leave.
Yeah.
You're allowed to do that. You're not a prisoner. and they were just like, what? No way. Maybe I will try that. Like they straight, like I was straight up like touch grass, and they straight up were just like, I don't know how. Like it was so weird because I was like, I literally was like, quitting Mythic Raiding was like probably one of the best decisions I've ever made in my entire life. Like quitting retail WoW and quitting like Mythic Raiding especially. And they were just like, yeah, it sounds it. Like, why is that? And I was explaining why and this and that and how like I had more time to do things. And if I didn't want to play FF, like, you know, for, like it's obviously like a personal part. Like I don't want to burn out by playing FF off stream and things like that. So I play other games and I'm allowed to do that. And I don't feel like I'm missing out on FF time or whatever by not playing it off stream. And they just couldn't comprehend it. They were just like, no, no, like, but then I'll fall behind and this and that. I'm like, you shouldn't feel that way if you're playing a game for fun, right? That's called addiction. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's fucked up, man. Yeah.
I've had that like for like 20, like I do think I would be so much further in my life if I never played MMOs.
Yeah. I mean, you could say it about a lot of things, but yeah.
Yeah, but I
That's
for
obviously,
sure
like the
think like
one
World of
recurring.
Warcraft was like the thing where it was like the obsession. It was the addiction. And you and I both broke out of it at the same time because we both started playing Final Fantasy at the same time. And
Yeah.
for me, it's like Final Fantasy is this incredible game, but I'm not addicted to it. But I
Yeah.
love
Same.
playing it. And
Yeah. I'm feeling
it's
the
like I've
exact
got
same way.
such a healthy relationship with it. Like I don't
Yeah.
I, I used to be at a point where like I would be itching if I wasn't like doing Mythic Plus on World of Warcraft because it was like, yeah, but like, you know, I'm logged off right now and there's gonna be people signing up keys, and what if somebody signed up this one key that I really need, and like they were gonna be the guys that were gonna invite me, and then I would have timed it, and what if that was the one key of the day that I would have timed, and then I would have gained that
God.
score, and then I would have moved up one rank on the feral rankings, and then that would have done XYZ, and like I was in this
Yeah.
trap for so long where it was like it was a FOMO of like I need to constantly be online in case and then the thing is I would get home, I would log in, and 6 hours could go by and I maybe get into one dungeon and we deplete it, and it's like, but you forget that it was like this really unhealthy relationship with the game. And I'll be honest, I'm sure people probably have a very similar thing with Final Fantasy. That, you know, I'm sure
Oh, 100%.
you can be unhealthy in a whole lot of things. It's not just gaming, you know, or not just a specific game. But I think for me, Final Fantasy has helped me break out of that like addictive personality with WoW. And don't get me wrong, like I've been playing it a smidge, you know, here and there. But like, I'm not bothered. I'm not.
No.
I'm not canceling plans to play WoW. You know what I mean? Like I guess I got some time, and okay, why not? But I'm
Yeah.
not.
When you separate from it, it's
Yeah,
freeing.
exactly.
Very, very freeing.
Yeah. So, so yeah, I don't know. Are those feelings resonating with you a bit as well?
Yeah, 100%. Like I agree. I feel the exact same way about FF. It's a game that I enjoy my time on, and I don't feel like I need to be in all the time. So it keeps it fresh for me every single time I log in. Um, I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything. I don't feel bad if I do play it because like stream might miss something. Um,
Hmm.
I think all of those are good things. And like you said, like I can just play classic WoW if and when I want to. That's how I get my like WoW fix or whatever now. Like and I only play that with friends. Like if I log into classic WoW by myself, I pretty much log out within 20 minutes because I'm
Yeah.
just like nothing to do. Like
Yeah.
I didn't want to play. I want to play with friends, and just yeah, it was just crazy. Like in that call yesterday, like the word I kept saying was like free. Like I kept saying like, oh, it's so freeing, or like I feel so free, and it's like it's weird that you didn't feel free in the first place, and it just seems like it's such a common thing. Like you said, it's probably a thing in FF players as well. Like people get lost in the source, and they're like, I just saw someone say in chat like, oh, when you get like stuck like progressing Party Finder, you feel like you constantly want to be like, well, if I'm not spending my time in Party Finder, then what am I really doing? Like the anxiety of not using your time productively and stuff like that. I think now as well, I'm a bit better at holding like within reason. Like sometimes I'll get a YouTube video out late or very late, but we'll like at least you and I probably like put that like we put something over our heads to like make sure that we don't get lost in the source. So for me,
Hmm.
it's like Or like I'm not gonna play FF. Like I don't feel like I want to play it off stream because I don't want to get further because then I'll fall even further behind on my YouTube
Yeah,
and
it
stuff like that
like
because I'm trying to keep
it
myself
caps you, doesn't
accountable.
it?
Yeah,
I
it
have the
caps you
same
out.
thing.
Yeah, like
Yeah, yeah,
clips your wings a little bit. So, and I think that's good. And obviously we're in a bit of a unique situation with that specific thing. But if you can just, it's almost like being like when you're a kid and your parents being like, you're only allowed on the PC for 2 hours. Like that was fine. The world didn't stop turning, and the game didn't stop existing if you did like had to log out after 2 hours. Like you just did what you could do in 2 hours, and then you were like, cool, I'll come back tomorrow, kind of thing. And it was fine. And like
yeah,
then we, went outside and played with our friends and did this or did our homework or whatever. Like it was like life just kept happening. It was fine. But like now, when people, I think, especially when people, like live online and they just play WoW or a game, just any game,
yeah,
to be honest, and they're just like, I don't have anything else to be doing on my time. They don't have a motivation to be doing anything on my time. Like, it's easier said than done to just be like, just do this other thing that will further your life. But like, not everyone really has the motivation or discipline to do that. I think everyone should work on that at least. It's not something that comes overnight, but
yeah,
maybe set that like, put down the game for like 1 hour a day and then be like, that hour I'm gonna do this thing. And over time, 30 hours in 30 days time, you'll have something to show for that 100%.
mhm. Yeah,
And then you
yeah. As
might
long
just
as
be
you're
like, oh, I
working at
prefer
things, yeah,
this. Yeah, yeah. Like even if it's 1 hour a day for 30 days, 30 hours into something, you're gonna have like a tangible result that you can see that you've got from your time, right? And then you might be like, it might be eye-opening. That's like, oh wow, like this thing I spent 30 hours on, I actually think I prefer this than the game. So now I'm gonna spend more time on that thing. Like for me,
yeah,
that was it with streaming. Like it was
hmm
like streaming and YouTube was like something I just like did every now and then, and then it's like, oh, I think I actually prefer like thinking about planning streams and making YouTube videos about the game than I do playing the game,
yeah,
So that can like take over. Like you could be like 1 hour a day, I'm gonna go to the gym, and then it's like in 30 days, like, oh shit, I kind of like the gym. Maybe I'm gonna take this more seriously or do more exercise or something like that, right? Like it can really quickly transition, I think.
yeah. That's something that I always like try and push to people. Like I like to think that I have a very healthy, like fitness minded channel where
Mm.
I'm always trying to push to people. I don't do it enough, I think, but I do try and as much as I possibly can push people towards like, hey, it doesn't matter where you're at in your life, uh, no matter what
It's
is
never
going
too
on in your
late to
life, like,
start. Yeah.
well, just like your life is only going to be improved for you going to the gym, and or not even necessarily the gym, but fitness. Like, for me, my favorite thing in the world is still I was playing in a 11-a-side football team back in England before I came over to Japan, and I that was my favorite thing. That 90 minutes every week, where that was my favorite 90 minutes of the week, and I missed that. But it's like it was just something so pure about just being so focused on that activity and like nothing like for that 90 minutes it was everything else disappeared, like no stream, no gaming, no nothing, like it was just
Yep.
that, and I just loved it. And I
Yeah.
also have I have a similar thing with the gym, but like the gym will just improve your mental state, your physical state. Like it'll motivate you, it'll energize you to then whatever task you then have coming up, it'll just improve. It's just so like that is the one thing I would recommend to anyone is just go to the gym no matter what situation you're in, and like you say, 1 hour less a day gaming, just to go to the gym or get outside, do a long walk, go play some Pokemon Go or something. Like at least you're
Yeah.
outside, like use that as
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
transition, play a mobile game outside, but like just getting outside, going and being outside and exercising and exerting yourself, I think is really important. So, yeah, I think Final Fantasy's been really awesome because it's also helped improve my gym consistency as well. Because I'm like you say, you kind of have those points where you're like, right, I'm done for the day. I shut off. Like I don't play Final Fantasy off stream, really. I'll do a couple
Mm.
roulettes here and there, but I'm like, no, I want to save everything for stream. So it just keeps you so like just keeps you, and even people in chat are saying, obviously not everyone streams, right, but like even people in chat saying like, yeah, I sort of play and then I like that's it, I put it down, or you don't feel like you're addicted, you don't feel like you always need to log in. So I've enjoyed that.
Yeah. at the very least, you can play a different game and
Yeah.
disassociate from FF for a bit and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But yeah, even better if you can use your time to, do anything that, a hobby, find a new hobby, or work on developing a skill or something. Like, yeah, even if you do it one day a week, just in the work days, or even 1 hour a week, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're still gonna get something like eventually. Like, it'll be slower progress, but you can only do what you're comfortable with, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. Yeah. Do you have
Also,
anything? Oh, yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, if your gym smells, you need to change gym, Alice. Okay,
Yep.
that's not hygienic.
Did you hear about that girl that was at a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, and she was playing, and I think she was doing quite well or something, and she quit mid-tournament because she said the smell was so unbearable.
God, just take a shower, guys. All right, tell your friends.
Dude, there's something
Everyone should
about
take showers.
Yu-Gi-Oh players. I don't know. There was in my where I live back in England, there was a card shop there. They used to do a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, but they had to stop doing it because people smelled too bad. Like they had
Why
to
is it
shut
always
it
you
down.
giving Yu-Gi-Oh a bad
It's
name? That
always,
was such a
always
banger. That
Yu-Gi-Oh
was such a
players.
banger program as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. But yeah. Funny. That just reminded me. But yeah, was there anything else that you wanted to discuss, or did you want to do like a Q&A with chat and stuff? I know we've not done a podcast in a while, so I don't know if there's maybe
Yeah, we could do some Q&A.
questions that people are gonna have and stuff. I'd love to see what
Yeah, we
people might
definitely
have.
we talked a little less about the game and more about gaming and life. I suppose we kind of tangented off to, but
I
I
kind
think
of
it
like
was
that though. I think
I
that was
think it was a
kind
good.
of nice. Yeah.
Yeah, like we don't need to just talk about FF. It's fine. We're talking about, well, we're just chatting shit basically
Yeah.
for a bit, and
Basically.
if we can put some life advice out there, then maybe, if even if it like one person thinks after the stream and they're like, maybe I'll spend that hour doing that thing I said I've been
I'll
wanting to
be.
do for 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, if one person does that, then that whole conversation was like productive, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's important. Like I say, I think it's important for me to help also motivate other people to think like further beyond just like gaming and doing other things. And I
Yeah.
think it's so like healthy and for me, like I say, for me it's fitness. That's my thing. But like your thing can be whatever you want it to be. But just like going and doing something else and other things I think is really important. Because like for me, when I was playing WoW for like 20 years, not developing any hobbies, like I wasn't getting good at anything else. Like yeah, I was doing school and work and stuff, but like that was it. It was stagnant. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm a better
But you were
World of
getting good at
Warcraft player now.
WoW,
Yeah, I'm getting better at
which you've
WoW,
now
which
quit. Yeah.
which I've now
Which you've
quit.
now quit. Is like,
So then
yeah,
it's
it's
like,
like, oh,
was
so
the
now it's
last
for nothing.
20 years just a complete waste of time? I could have been spending that time doing anything. So I think
Mm.
the more you can kind of pull yourself off and do some other activities, I think is really important. But I mean, I've even had people DMing me, and saying like, oh, hey, I appreciate you talking about fitness. It's helped motivate me, get me back working, in the gym and stuff. And like, that to me is really nice to hear because I like to know that other people are doing well and like other people are feeling good and stuff. So yeah, I think like you say, if it helps anyone, like even just one person, I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Like, I've had times when I've like done push-ups or squats or something on stream, and then I'm just like, do them with me, chat, and people are like, fine, I'll get up from my chair and literally do it, and it's like,
Yep.
great. Like, now we're like bettering ourselves together, kind of thing. It's cool.
Yeah,
Like, I
for
did
sure.
like 100 push-ups a day for 30 days, like way back when. I might do it again actually, because I actually did some good chest development in that time.
Push-ups
Just
are really good. They're really good.
yeah,
Like even if you're going to the gym, push-ups are still like one of the best exercises you can do. So like,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
they're
They're
really
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 good.
good. They're really really good.
And like the amount of people that jumped on board and were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna do that too." And then sometimes they were like, "I'm doing 300 push-ups a day. You're a pussy." And I was like, "All right, fuck me then, I guess. Sorry."
Well, that's the thing. Chat always has to beat the strummer. Yeah. I used to do a lot of aerobics. I used to do aerobics. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
even my adventure
it's
plate is
aerobics.
like aerobics on the hour, every hour, and I haven't done it in a long time. And I think that's just related to like I just had some stuff occur, so I like kind of took a break from doing it. But I'd like to bring that back because I yeah had a lot of people that were like I had a lot of people that were like, oh, this has been really nice, like that I know I do it with you, so it means that I'm at least moving a few times a stream where I'm like getting up out my seat, stretching out.
Yeah.
I think it's even really important. Like even me right now, like I've got a problem with my knee that's been developing. I've been doing 12-hour streams of MSQ, and my knee has seized up over the course of this week, where like I'm having to try and stretch it out midstream because it's just like I've been sitting down too much. So you know, it's like it's not good. It's not good. So yeah, I think I might bring back the aerobics and stuff because I think people would like it. But yeah,
Yeah, do it.
should we look through some questions?
Yes, we can do that.
Oh, sorry, that's the president calling me. He said, "I think chat's waiting for you to do Q&A." Yes,
All
Mr.
right.
Yes, Mr.
Thank you,
President.
Mr. President.
Right away, right away. There was one in game saying, "Sai, if you had to pick a class from a class WoW style for this game, given access to what you have now, what would you pick?" So I mean, I would pick Feral Druid. That would, I think, like bleed based would be really cool. I know that they've removed bleeds from classes in this game. My hopes are that they've been slowly reducing the amount of bleeds on classes in this game, so that then Viper is going to come through and have like multiple different bleeds or dots. I think that would be kind of cool. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would hope.
Poison's in the name.
Yeah, it's called Viper, bro. Like,
yeah.
What does a Viper have? It's got poison, bro. It's got to have dots.
Yeah.
But, I think it would be kind of cool maybe to play like Viper, maybe playing like kind of like a survival hunter in WoW, where you like apply your dart, it builds up in stacks, and then you're like bursting those dots to do like critical damage and stuff. Like that kind of thing I think could be pretty neat, but we'll see. I'm really excited to just see Viper, because Viper might end up filling a lot of the gaps that I want in Final Fantasy. So yeah, I probably would play Druid. I mean, what about you? Is there anything that you would bring over? Sounds like
probably DH. Sounds like Cope.
Yeah.
I'll probably bring DH. Just like I guess like Viper kind of feels the fancy. Like DH, you turn into a demon and then your abilities are empowered. But Viper, you kind of put together the twin blade and you do that, right? So it's kind of got elements of it. But I kind of like the. Actually, you know what? I don't like the movement. I was thinking in my head like dashing around and like moving to do damage, but I don't like that in WoW. So I wouldn't want to bring momentum,
and
like
you would
anything
not like it in
momentum
Final
based.
Fantasy, I don't think. It would be
No,
even
with like
worse.
the telegraphing and the net coding and stuff.
Yeah.
Probably would not be good. Yeah. I don't know then, to be honest. What even fucking specs are there in WoW? Yeah, there's only like dot spec casters, big smash warriors, which I guess
maybe something
we have
that isn't a 2-minute meta, maybe. Because I know that's a big complaint with FF. It's all 2-minute meta.
Why is that a complaint? Why do people not like 2 minutes?
People just don't like 2-minute meta. I don't know.
But like, if you've played WoW, where there is 2-minute classes and then there's 3 minutes, and sometimes like DH used to have 4 minutes, it's really annoying if you're not the 2 minutes, because it's designed around 2 minutes. So if you have one job that's different to the others, that job gets shafted. So it, like, sure, you could say it's homogenized and that everyone has 2 minutes, but like, yeah.
This is, I think, something that people, because I know the game never used to be like a full 2-minute meta, right? But like, this is something that I think is important to consider, is that the game, and again, you know, me and you, Russ, we're inexperienced compared to current raiders. We don't even have our full toolkits on our jobs and stuff. But something I would at least pose as an argument for people is, if you have a fight, say like an ultimate or a savage raid, and the boss that you're progging has a very specific window where, let's say, 2 minutes just is the perfect timing for certain things. Like maybe there's a certain DPS check at a certain time point, and it, you know, reoccurs at certain times, right? And it's like 2 minutes just really lines up well for that. And then let's say that you have like a 2-minute 30 or a 3-minute class, then you might end up not taking that class to the boss because you go, oh, well, your cooldowns just aren't going to align. And that's where we really care about this damage, is we really want our damage at this specific time point. So we're going to bring a 2-minute class instead. And the time window could be anything. It could be 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Like, it doesn't matter, whatever. But I think that's something to consider, is the impact on that. But I also think that Final Fantasy kind of is a well-oiled machine. Like everything is done for a reason, and the 2 minute
Yeah.
meta for me kind of makes sense when you have like Dancer, right? Like you as a Dancer, if you're buffing someone every 2 minutes and their cooldowns line up for every 2 minutes, it's perfect. Otherwise,
Mm.
you could you might be a class that's 3 minutes and then you don't sync up with the Dancer and you just feel like, oh well, I never get to have fun, like I never get to be empowered. And I don't know. I think that like in WoW, right? You go to a dungeon with a mage, they're getting PI. You're not getting it.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, it'd be fun for me to be the one having fun sometimes. So I think that's something to consider with 2 minute meta. But obviously, like I know it's a big complaint for people with homogenization and stuff like that. But I think it's more so like I view it as like a well-oiled machine. So
Yeah. I think if everything's not the same, someone always loses. Whereas if
yeah.
everyone's the same, everyone wins. And like they can, like you said, they can design the fights around it. Like people in chat are saying that as well. Like I've noticed that the struggle bus kind of moment of a fight usually lines up like every 2 minutes, where people will have their cooldowns to either push something or to heal through something or whatever. Like they design the fight with that in mind.
Mhm.
And if you start putting like some people like I just want to hear like what's the solution then for the people that don't like the 2 minutes. Like, what do you do? Have someone have 90 seconds, someone have 2 minute 30, like, and a lot of people have 2 minutes because like then like you said, like people just will be like, well, no. In WoW, if you had like the 3 minute cooldown and there was like a really big DPS push coming up or something, everyone else is on 2 minutes, so it goes like Sludge Fist, for example, it's like 2 minutes on like the DPS phase, then 2 minutes on the next DPS phase it lined up. But if you're on like 3 minutes, you'd have to pop your 3 minutes and then sit on them for 1 minute, and that feels terrible as well because you
Mhm.
need to hold them for an entire minute and then pop them on the 4 minute
Yeah.
mark with the other 2 minutes where the DPS check is, which
And
so like everyone always just loses, like someone loses, whoever's playing
yeah.
that basically.
And do you remember as well? Like so, Feral used to be very 3 minute heavy. So, but most classes in the game were 2 minute or 1 minute. So you pop Bloodlust, which is the equivalent. It's like the equivalent of an LB3, but they work
Yeah.
differently. But it's basically just like you get insane haste. Everybody gets insane haste, so everything just happens quicker.
Yeah.
That's basically what Bloodlust is. But they would pop it for the 2 minute classes. So if you're a 3 minute class, you just felt like shit because by the time you got your cooldowns, the window would end. Or like you say, you'd have to sit on your cooldowns for an extra minute, which was just like you'd always have to do some shenanigans where you just try and get. It's like, do I want to line this up with Bloodlust or do I want to try and get 2 uses of my cooldown instead? And like, it just doesn't feel as good. So I think Final Fantasy, if it wasn't the way that it is, then I would understand the dislike of the 2 minute meta. But I think everything just works so well. Like everything is
Yeah.
like the fights are just designed around these things, so it allows them to have these really. Because you look at WoW. WoW has so many buffs and nerfs to different bosses and different classes and stuff constantly because there's so many variables. In Final Fantasy, because they can keep things so just tight, it means that like everything is just it just seems to work in my opinion. It just feels really nice. But again, this is obviously coming. Me and Russ are both obviously inexperienced in the current level of the game, so for sure, chat,
Well,
if you have stuff to add, like I'm sure you guys have some really good points as well to counter the 2 minute meta, but like for me it's not a problem so far. Like I don't really mind.
yeah, like seems like a lot of people are saying, well, the vibe I'm getting is like it works. It means they can design fights better, which work, and it feels like I think more like a satisfying dance, or like jigsaw coming together, kind of like all the pieces fit in properly. Like no one's disappointed, like I mentioned a couple times, um, and it just kind of works. And they can design it, and you can essentially like engineer every fight if you know the timings. You can engineer like every fight before you even step in, and no one's gonna be like being like, oh great, I get the short straw this time because I have to hold my cooldowns, or my cooldown doesn't line up. So it's just like everyone does this thing. We can put a hard mechanic that happens every 2 minutes, and they can work this out, or maybe like 2 minutes 15. So like you can hold cooldowns for like 15 seconds. Like that could be one way to just kind of change it without changing it. Like delay the mechanic, then everyone has to hold for 15 seconds, but then it feels terrible to hold. So it's like, do you pop like to keep them on cooldown and not get as much out of it, or like where like how many people then is it like, oh well, we only need 4 people to save their cooldowns, the other 4 can pop on cooldown for like increased overall DPS. Like it just makes sense, like for the sake of access. There's obviously a reason they're doing it this way. Like they're the fight designers behind this. They seem to be trusted enough by the community to make good raid encounters. Like everyone seems to worship the devs in terms of like the fights that they come up with and create. So we should also trust them that they know what they're talking about with the cooldown alignment as well. Like there's a reason for it. Like rather than just like, oh, we just thought 2 was a fun number. Like
Yeah.
like it's for a reason. Like we should just be like, take them at face value and be like, cool, you do you. Like we'll just play the fights and play
I'd
the
love
game.
to speak to some, like, you know, experienced raiders on the topic. Like, you know, maybe if we ever have someone on that's like a high-end raider or something, and we ever have them on the podcast, we can kind of ask them about this kind of stuff, because they will probably be able to give us some more context and illuminate this for us. I did want to mention, I would maybe like to see some classes in the game that are like, they don't have any cooldowns, or they have like a 30-second cooldown where they're just very consistent. Like that kind of thing I think can actually be pretty cool. So I'd actually maybe like to see that kind of thing as well, just as a bit of variation, potentially. And yeah, we'd love to have Xeno on one day. That would obviously be a little treat, of course. We'd love to.
That'd be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. But any other questions? Have you got anything in your chat or anything? Anything?
Yeah, we could. Yeah, Mr. Happy would be good. Xeno would be good. Be interesting to get Preach on one time as well. I don't know how much raiding he's done, but for different reasons, obviously, we can talk to him about stuff. But yeah, for raid stuff, yeah, Mr. Happy knows his shit. Like he's been playing the game. Well, he's played back FF11. Like he knows everything about this entire game. Like he would be a really good one to get on if we can maybe snipe him one day. Todd as well does a ton of raiding. Yeah. Yeah, we'll make a hit list.
Yeah. Sayori as well. I think Sayori does a bunch.
She does,
she'd
yeah.
be cool to talk to. There's a lot of people that we'd like to have on for sure. I think probably see how these go. I mean, this is the first podcast back in a little while. We've got to see how this goes. Obviously, it's like very late for me, which isn't necessarily a problem, but you know, it's we got to test run these and see how they do, and then
time zones.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, anything else? Any other questions from your chat?
Do you see any? Any other questions, guys, for anything? Specifically, if you want to relate it to follow up on this topic, or if you want to ask something complete curveball. But yeah, most people seem to say, like, I get why it works, I just don't like it.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
Like a personal thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Would you pound Ted?
Depends on the day. What about you?
Okay. I don't know who Ted is.
Oh. Fair enough.
So sure, why not?
What do you think of the patch MSQ for Heavensward? Yeah, the patches were good. Patches, they redeemed Heavensward a little bit for me. Not that it was bad. I never said it was bad. I just said I preferred the very end of base era to the very end of base Heavensward. That's literally the only comparison I made. And then I said the patches were good. Yeah, it's. I did not say it's mid, but I'll say Middlesward is good. All right.
Middlesward. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Alright, right. Just, you know.
I thought that was quite good.
Yeah.
I thought Middlesward was good.
I won't comment on the other expansions that you're going to be walking into, but yeah, no, I think the patch content in this game just hard carries. Like, the patch content is consistently so good because it's just so much more condensed and everything's already been established. They can't not really, like, be really, really good, you know? So, yeah, patch content is always sick.
Yeah, like, you're getting half the story in the base game, right? So, it was just, honestly, I think it was just Thordan normal fight was undertuned, and that was basically it. But, like, I wasn't just like, oh, is that it? But it was because it tied so much in, like, because the fight narratively tied so much into the story, because it was a letdown. It felt like the story points that it was trying to convey were a letdown, right? So that was why. But I think if they fix that, I would just talk much more highly about it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like I've had a fight. I won't say where or when or who, but I've had a fight that as soon as I found out the boss, I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be the coolest goddamn fight like ever, and it just wasn't. And then it was good, but it wasn't. It didn't blow me away, and it was pretty upsetting. So I know what you mean.
Are we talking about a redacted? Are we talking about a redacted boss
Yeah,
for me?
yeah, redacted.
Okay.
I don't, I don't know. Maybe chat can DM me if they're interested about what the fight is. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame when you're like kind of hyped for something like Thornton. Yeah, Thornton's sick, right? Like you want it to be really, really good. But that comes down to me with they need to just make the MSQ like mega easy. So it's hard, right, when you're building up these really sick characters who are supposed to be like really powerful and whatnot,
Big villains.
and then and then they end up being just kind of a bit lackluster. I have thought, this is a quick tangent, but I have thought about the fact that I would love to see a lot more duties in the game, and that's something that definitely picks up more so in latter expansions, and I do like that.
Yeah, I like duties.
So,
yeah.
I think that would actually be a really nice way to get more combat injected into, like, I think they should go back to ARR, and I think they should make more duties, and they should condense some things down and make duties the way of experiencing them. In some areas, like just sprinkle in a few extras, because I think it gives people more uptime on combat, which I think for a lot of people will be important. A lot of people that I've spoken to, it's important. And also just, it's like another additional... Especially early. It's just like an extra storytelling technique that just makes you feel more involved. And I think it's really, really awesome. And I think that they should allow you to do like a very hard... Like they should... You know how like if you die, you probably...
Very easy.
Yeah. Very easy.
No, I died like yesterday in the duty.
Yep.
I didn't walk into Justruss's bubble shield, and I died, and then it was like, you want to try it on very easy? I was like, I was a millisecond too late.
Doesn't matter. Chat's still gonna get you. But
yeah, they did.
I think that they should prompt you before you start the duty, and it should already allow you to pick a difficulty setting, and there should be like a very challenging, because I don't see why they wouldn't just put in some additional time, like making these fights hard, because I think, you know, you're fighting up against a character who's maybe,
big
the
bad.
story's building up to them being this like super powerful being, and then you fight them and you're just like, bro, I'm literally falling asleep doing this fight, and it's not cool because it takes away from the spectacle, and it's a shame.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be like something people should feel pressured to do. Like if you ever played any single player campaign game or something, and you have like normal mode where it's supposed to just be played if you want to experience the story. They have a very easy if you just want to walk through it and not really care about taking damage. And then they have like hard and like god mode or something. And like Call of Duty, for example, like they had like veteran and shit. And I used to play the game the first time on like normal, and then I'd go back and be like, time to challenge myself, let's do everything on veteran kind of thing. So like the options there for the players who want it, but you shouldn't feel like you're subpar for not doing it kind of thing. Like just do the duty on normal. And like you said, like the guys in chat were saying it there, like Cape Westwind and stuff.
I love that.
Yeah, like Cape Westwind was great. Like it was like coming up to like a story arc, and like it was actually like the first duty where I was like, whoa, this one like gave me a run for my money. Like, I'm pretty sure that's the first duty I wiped, and was like, fuck, all right. I might have even wiped twice there, I think. And just not the old way Kate Westwind, the new one. But yeah, like shit like that, and especially like we said, like early combat is like one of the most, at least from people coming over from WoW, because they always make the comparison of combat between WoW and FF. So it's like, oh, well, I don't want to do FF because the combat sucks. What level did you play to? 24? Like, yeah, no shit. Like, you're really going to get that much combat into up to level 24. But if you put some, like, kind of hard duties where, like, sure, your rotation's still going to be 3 buttons, but if there's at least a few mechanics to do, people might be like, well, I mean, the rotation is kind of simple, but that was kind of cool that at level 24, they made me, like, run to the other side of the room, press a button, do this thing. Like, yeah, like that redeems the relation a bit.
Exactly. Like, your rotation can be simple, but if the mechanics are difficult to execute, it artificially increases the complexity of your rotation.
Yeah, yeah,
If your rotation is one button, then okay, yeah, nothing's gonna make it because you can just perma spam. But like, you know what I mean? So the mechanics help make rotations feel a little bit like better. It's funny because oh, by the way, I think Ted was just in your chat a second ago. But
oh,
I think he got banned unfortunately. But I think that was Ted that just stopped in. So hey Ted.
then I wouldn't bang Ted.
Oh okay, unfortunate.
Unlucky.
But I I did a roulette. I did a couple of roulettes like 2 days ago on my monk, and
Yeah, that was when I was chatting with you.
yeah, and it's like level 70, 75, 76 now, and within about half an hour, I played 3 different versions of monk,
Yeah, yeah.
which
I
is
think that's
just
fine.
so
Like
it's
it's weird,
fine, but like it
but it's
just
fine.
jars me so much, man.
Yeah,
Like it's so hard to build the muscle memory on a job.
yeah,
When you play 3 different you have like the 0 cooldown build, then you have like the some cooldowns, then you have like, okay, now I have everything, and then you're just like, oh, my rotation, I have to like relearn my rotation every time. But yeah, the content obviously is whatever. It's like you're just doing a roulette. But yeah, it's just speaking about combat in general in this game, you know, which obviously we touch on quite a lot, but yeah, I just found it funny.
yeah. And like you mentioned with the whole, you don't need to have like, oh, I need to have like 10 globals in a row and like 15 OGCDs to press as well to be fun in combat. Like, for like you said, like if the class is simpler, and this is what something that I've been saying for ages. Like I prefer a simple class. Like I played DH, and wow, it's not exactly the most complex class of all time. But I don't mind because it means that my brain is freed up to focus on other things, right? Like I said, it's all the time. Like if I'm just
Like
pressing
planning
one,
your
two,
next
three,
subathon or something, and you just
yeah, just like thinking about like what I'm like pounding Ted and stuff. Yeah, yeah,
which
all I'm
coincidentally is
doing
going to
is
be a
like
sub goal.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, but like if I can be like cool, well, I can start thinking about the next mechanic before it actually happens because I'm not as like invested into my rotation all the time. Whereas like then you get the demonology warlocks who are like, oh, I better calculate this and that and this and that, and like planning my next like demonic rotation and things like this, and then like they'll get one mechanic and be like, fuck, what do I do? Oh shit, I was so like invested, like I don't have the brain power like left to think about doing the mechanics, and that is like unfair to the other people in your group, right? So
Yeah.
I think personally like a simpler rotation is fine. I know people mention very often like jobs below 70 and like sometimes even jobs at 70, like people like level 70 Reaper socks and this and that. It's like I don't think it will. I could probably play level 60, level 70, level 50 Reaper and probably be fine enough. Like
Yeah.
for me, I'm just like maybe it's a personal take, but I'm just like more time I can reach at, you know, like so
No,
that's
for
fine
sure.
for me. Or like, or if I'm doing a progress rate, it would be like, well, now I can not have to look at my bars and I can look at like the players around me and like how are they moving, where are they moving, what mechanics are going out, can I make some calls here? Like, I always want to like use up my full 100% potential on my brain. So if it's not on my rotation, I can spend it. It's like a currency, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's something
Mm.
I've been struggling with Monk because it's so fast paced.
Mm.
That it's awkward because you have to line up a bunch of different cooldowns as well. So like, you'll line up your cooldowns, and ironically, there's this fight in Stormblood that is it's a fight that people in chat, they want you to play Monk for it because it's like a Monk fight, and I did it, and it was the worst experience I've had playing Monk so far in this game, which is ironic because it's like Monk themed. But just I would like line up my cooldowns, I would pop them, and then the boss would just disappear for like a minute. I'd be like, for fuck's sake, man!
Yeah,
Like, but it
yeah,
would do it like constant. Like there was like multiple elements of the fight, and they just all keep disappearing. And I'm like, oh fuck! Like I just need like this window where I can just do my mechanics, man. Or to do my rotation, and
yeah.
it's so awkward. But yeah, it was funny. Yeah, so yeah, I'm really enjoying Monk. By the way, I think you should pick that up. That's been my
Yeah, I will.
favorite like thing to
I've
play.
been meaning to.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
You like it more than Ninja?
Well, Samurai is my main. I like Monk the most. Samurai is like just the ease with monk. It's okay. It's fast. It's got multiple things. So it has a dot, which I like, but it's a short dot with it, and you also have a short buff, and then also it's got different cooldowns that you have to line up, and then it's just very fast paced, and I just like it. It just works for me. It's kind of, it makes me feel like Feral from WoW, right? Like monk is the closest thing I think. So I just like it the most, and then the ease at which you could switch between single target, AoE, like it's just flawless. I really like it. I think it's just very well designed currently for what I'm playing, but it's challenging with the mechanic, because like you say, you're doing mechanics, you're doing your rotation, you're talking to chat, you're also like maybe raid leading as well at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're trying to like figure out the mechanics that you're like trying to cook and stuff. So for me, playing monk and stuff in raid is really hard, because I'm not just trying to play monk, I'm trying to do 5 different things and play monk, and that to me is like, I want to just make it as difficult as I can, so it's like quite cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should check it out. And you'll like Reaper as well. Reaper is, it's simple at 70, but it's very visually like satisfying. It looks awesome.
That's my jam. That's my
You'll
jam.
like
It's like,
it, man.
like
You'll love it.
that's the thing with DH. I was like, yeah, I'm pressing 3 buttons, but I'm also like shooting laser beams at my eye and turning into a demon and dashing around and doing backflips. Like, to me, that's a hard sell. Like I'm in. You know, like that. Like that's just what I'm about. Like it doesn't matter to me. I don't need to. Like Dragoon is one thing I'm struggling with a little bit now, just because it's like, it's just it's playable, it's fine, but it's like I have to be pretty switched on, and I feel bad if I ever mess anything up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I haven't experienced it. I haven't got its level 70 rotation yet. It's just got a little too many keybinds for me. Like keybinding and having enough action buttons that I'm comfortable pressing on the fly has always been probably like my weakest, like stat points, like where my stat points are allocated, my weakest attribute when it comes to MMOs and stuff. So if I'm like willingly playing the one with the most, then I'm kind of, you know, I'm playing on even harder mode, or like gimping myself, or potentially some enjoyment for myself there. So I'm okay to take it back a notch. Like Dragoon was never the end game play for me anyway. I picked it up because I was like, well, I have to pick a starting class, and Dragoon looks cool. Like now I've bonded with it a little bit more than I was anticipating. Like I like knowing like my aura is a Dragoon and from Gridania, and like I've got some like pictures of her and stuff, like art. It's like people have done art for me of her and stuff. So it's like,
What kind of art?
You can see. I'll send you it later. You later.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you mind? Yeah, you don't mind. Don't mind showing me. Cool. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, chat. No, chat. I've seen it.
Cool.
So it's safe. It's safe.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's not that sexy, guys. Some of it's a little bit sexy, I guess. But
damn.
Hey, it just got made, and I just accepted it. You know, it's fine. But yeah, like, she's got Dragoon armor on in some of these art pieces, so it's like kind of nice to honor that, I guess, of her.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, before you killed her and started again for the 17th time. Do you enjoy having a different character for each expansion? Like, does it make you feel sort of... Well, actually, you Fantasia way too much, so I don't know how, like, if you do this, but...
Oh, do you do it by expansion?
No, not intentionally, but I think I have changed a couple times. So I started as Bunny Girl, then I went Cat Girl, then I was gonna go Aura, but now I've gone to Hyur, and I actually really like my character. I think this glamour that I have now, I don't think I'm ever gonna change it. I think it's so cool. I love it. People tell me that it looks shit, but like, it doesn't look shit. It looks really good. So I don't think I'm ever gonna change. I like it too much. But there was like a character in Stormblood that is in the MSQ, and I like looked very much similar to. And then you can buy the character's glamour on the store. So because I look like them, people are like, oh, you gotta buy the glam. So I bought the glam, and then I just like, I'd be in a cutscene, and it would just be like 2 of us, and it was just funny. So yeah, I like that.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I Fantasia just as and when. Usually chat dares me, and then I do it.
Wow, what a
But
brave dare.
yeah, but I do like like I've mentioned this in one of my reasons that I just kind of like FF in general, like or like for my character, like the whole jobs on one character, but also like now with the Fantasia thing, like I know you could do this in other games, like you can race change and whatnot, but it's like I have the one character I'd never need to like change, and it's like she has many faces kind of thing. Like that's like now kind of a fantasy for me.
A fantasy.
Like I,
Would you say it's
a
your
final one, yeah,
final fantasy?
Final Fantasy. Yeah, so she can wear many faces and she can change, but she's always like my warrior of light kind of thing. Like she's always like an aura at heart, but she can like pull off a mask, put one on, kind of thing. I kind of like
Quick
thinking there's
question:
like a
how do I
dynamic there.
do how do I do the cope emote? I want to put, is it copium? Do I have to do like full caps?
Yeah, God, you're such a fucking boomer, man.
Yeah.
You're so bad at Twitch. It's
Oh,
crazy, actually.
so I do like,
How would you do that wrong?
okay, so I did copium. Okay. Nice. Hey chat, he's
You're a
cope.
full-time streamer.
She's an aura at heart. Yeah, okay, cope, bro. Cope.
Opium.
Cope harder, bro.
Jesus. This guy didn't have emotes for the first like 4 years he streamed full time in his
And yet
chat.
you're still sitting on a podcast with me. Who's the real loser?
Look, bottom of the barrel is still in the barrel, okay?
Yeah, well, why don't you get that little picture of your aura and go sit in the barrel and do whatever you're going to do, okay?
Russ bleeds Fantasia. Yeah, I bleed blue, baby.
Right, Russ. I think that's where we can probably call it, yeah, for the,
Yeah.
on that note. I don't want to
Yeah.
get in the way of you and your barrel, my friend. Anything else that you wanted to, or do you want to do a little sign off? Do you want to, obviously you're going to keep streaming stuff, but like, do you want to sign off from the, from the episode at all? Do you want to say anything? Where can the people find you? No, I'm joking.
They can find me right here.
Literally right here.
Wait.
Perfect. No,
Oh,
yeah,
there is
so
something I
you're
want to
saying-
say.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
On.
Oh wait, we'll do it after the official ending actually.
Oh, sure.
Before you
Okay.
go though.
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can do the official.
Yeah, you don't
end.
have anything.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll do another episode very, very soon, guys. Thank you so much for watching Between Two Sprouts. If you liked any of the stuff that you heard from me and Russ in the content that we got upcoming and the content that we've done so far, make sure, obviously, I mean, if you're listening on YouTube, make sure you check out our Twitch channels. Make sure you check out our YouTube channels and stuff. There's always a lot of content going out from both of us. So, so yeah, check it out. And thank you so much for watching Between Two Sprouts.